All right, let's check my settings and see if we're good and see if our guest of honor is going to show up. Because I don't want to be here all day because I actually did like a 4 hour stream yesterday for my patrons. Actually, it was a pretty fire stream. Uh, Me, Lindy, and Sandog. Good stream behind the wall. Saying some things that we can't normally say in the broader public. So uh, let me greet my folks. I see Linda. What's up, Linda? uh, TL, what's up? Buddy Young, Brotherly Love, what's up? Tapper Supreme, Bruce, Sir Obadiah, what's up? Tall E, what's up? Brian, what's up? Art, what's happening? Lowcast, what's going on? Mr. Meach, see if we can get, I think his name's KG, to come on up since he wanted to go ape shit in my comment section and wanted to argue with everybody. Little Rocks, what's up? 8 terabytes heavier. You got everything up and booted? What is my 6 rules for dealing with women? Okay, 6 rules for dealing with women, right? Especially if it's going to be a long-term relationship. Okay, there's 3 do's and 3 don'ts. Okay, the 3 do's is take care of me, take care of my house, take care of my children if we have them. Right? Those are the 3 do's. 3 don'ts is um, don't bring me back in the attitude because women are going to. All people drift. All people will dally, right? That doesn't mean she's gonna be constant, but hey, if a man is catches her fancy, just like a woman catches a man's fancy, catch the right woman, catch the right man, people gonna fall, right? So 3 don'ts is don't bring me back any attitude, any diseases, or any babies. If you're gonna fuck around, keep that shit outside the house and don't let me catch you. Okay? Those are my 6 rules. My 3 do's and 3 don'ts. If she does what she's supposed to do as far as taking care of me, my psychological, and my sexual, my whatever, my physical needs and all that kind of stuff, emotional needs, got no problem with it. She take care of my house like she's supposed to. Got no problem with it. She take care of my children like she's supposed to. That's those are her jobs, right? As far as I'm concerned, and all the don'ts basically is all the negative shit, right? If you're gonna fuck around, you're gonna do that. I've been around too many people that cheated, right? And cheated for years. They took care of home. Whatever they did on the outside, away from the house, they kept that shit under wraps, and they kept that chick or a guy or that chick away from their house. Okay, so basically, nothing interfered with their relationship with their man or their household. You're gonna do that, okay? Yeah, I'm not gonna follow. I don't have a low jack on a woman 24/7. Yeah, what 54 RP, 100 RPM. That's for storage. Yeah, yeah, because he was in Korea. I think he was in the Marines, so he saw it firsthand. Yeah, well, that's emotional. It's not when they talk about white supremacy and then denying they are. Okay, what's up? I don't know. Okay, what's up? Whoever you are. Well, what's up? Whoever you are. Well, you don't have to, man. You can catch it on the rebound. You're not black mind. You don't have to stay up. You catch it on the rebound. This is just he wanted to go ape shit in my comment section. Okay, white supremacy is global. That's like how I played. That's like how I played that clip from that chick. Okay, and she just wrote the book, and I caught that earlier in the week. Okay, and she says that she actually mentioned the color line. Yeah, she mentioned the color line. Okay, if you go any place else in the world, the color line is obvious. I don't even know why people even argue it. If people think a hood and a noose and the KKK is symbol of white supremacy, it is not. It's the fucking battleship or their goddamn aircraft carrier. Okay, that's a symbol of white supremacy, and everybody recognizes it. You just don't recognize it because you live inside the belly of the beast. You don't see it because you don't have to worry about a aircraft carrier pulling up off your coast with 120 planes. Okay, you don't have to worry about that, or a whole destroyer ring, right? Because aircraft carrier doesn't ride by itself; it rides with 20 ships, destroyers, LHRs, missile ships, and 2 submarines. Okay, nuclear submarines. They can obliterate your country if need be. That's white supremacy. What's up, Sam? But people want to come in with these petty ass arguments. They mobilize every time nobody want to roll with white supremacy. The white supremacy doesn't care if uh if you roll with it or not. Okay, they don't care. Okay, they shape your reality. They shape your society. Ask the Afghans if they really wanted white people in their country. I'll wait. But I'm going to wait and see if he shows up because I want to hear what he got to say. But in the meantime, while we're waiting, but I don't understand about people not understanding what we call white supremacy. Was it Admiral Perry said it about talked about the white man's burden back in the late 19th century when they sailed to Asia and the Philippines and China. Okay, the last the last group to actually challenge white supremacy was the Japanese. You have the Chinese. Okay, there's a book called The 100 Year Marathon, right? And this is China's uh, plan to overtake the West, which they're pretty close. Okay, now will the white supremacy completely last forever? No. In fact, it's probably on its way out, but that doesn't mean that it does not exist. I don't know why black folks think it doesn't exist when they see it every day. Like I said, a Karen can actually, if you're in a mixed neighborhood, a Karen can pick up a phone, call the cops, cops come get you. But white supremacy doesn't exist. Please. Oh, appreciate you, JBA. West Africa. Well, it'd be better for somebody that's in West Africa to actually talk about it. But the matrilineals, basically the line of succession and the line of wealth come through the female, much like the Egyptians. But the men are in charge. The men actually make the rules. So there's a matrilineal bent in most African societies. There's a matrilineal bent, but the women actually put the men in charge. That's the thing that it's topsy turvy in the United States. Where that's why in the black community is not a matriarchy; it's a gynocracy because the women want to rule. Well, it's up to you. Yes, you don't have to if he shows up, but uh, people think that white supremacy, or what we think of what white supremacy is, a localized thing. It's not. Okay. Uh, the people around the world, they know they have to kiss the ring. They have to kiss the ring of white supremacy, for the most part. And some countries have kind of broken that tie, or at least lessened the grip. As much as North Korea talks shit, North Korea knows they got to kiss the ring at some point. They know they can only go so far. China's the same way. They can only go so far. I want to thank Damon for the Cash App. Appreciate you. I want to thank Dar for the Cash App. Appreciate you. But KG, if you're out there listening, man, why don't you go ahead and chime in, man, so we can get this started? Because you were arguing with everybody in my comment section. I mean, you could have argued with me directly, but you wanted to go on everybody's comment and argue with them, say I didn't prove my point, instead of challenging me directly. Matrilineal does not necessarily matrilineal. Well, a lot of a lot of what if you actually go read the national was it not the International Conference on Matriarchy, right? Or matriarchy. Okay. Basically, a matrilineal society is probably the closest approximation to a matriarchy you're going to get. Okay, because the women are actually in charge of the family, and the men are actually in charge of the government. Okay, so a patriarchy and a matriarchy are not the same thing, right? They're not opposites of each other, and that's been very clear. Even the Native Americans, right? The women had a council. They elected chiefs. They elected men to be in charge. Okay, they elected the chiefs council. It's more of an egalitarian society. Matrilineal, basically, matrilineal and patrilineal are pretty close to the same. They might be opposites, but they're pretty close to the same thing. Basically, matrilineal, the line of succession goes through the female. Okay, even the Jewish society, the line of succession goes to the female. And the Jews themselves said that it not only is it matrilineal, but it's also a matriarchy. And this has come from the Jews themselves. They say they have a matriarchy, even though the men are in charge, the men have all the businesses, the men are elected. But this is what they say. I didn't please try not to say African sides are matrilineal. What I'm saying is, I said African tribes have a what? And we're not going to start this bullshit. 24 tribes, okay? Ain't gonna start this bullshit, okay? I said African tribes have a matrilineal bent. That means a mother bent. That's what I'm saying. So we ain't gonna start this shit. So you ain't gonna start this shit tonight with me. 24 tribes, okay? And I said don't start that shit. That's what I'm telling you. You're not on any BS before you get started, because I know you. I know you. With 24 tribes, how long have you been around? And we going back and forth in comment section. I know you. Don't play me. I have, and that's to be settled. China has it. Depends on what China's going to do with it. We settled Lehman Brothers and all that kind of stuff. China has enough money to actually settle this. In fact, I don't know how true it was. They were actually blowing up some unfinished apartment towers. Um, it's it's headed that way, and I think it has been for a long time. Um, what is left of a what is if there's anything left of a patriarchy, it's so weak that it's almost indistinguishable, because the if you actually look at the definition of a matriarchal society, it's about equity. It's an equal sharing. Okay, it doesn't mean that women rule. It's an equal sharing, and we're just about there if we're not there already. Most of the rules are actually lean toward the women anyway. So if you think this is a patriarchal society, it's a patriarchy in name only. It hasn't been it stopped being a patriarchy when ownership of the children actually transferred to the woman. This is back in the first tender years doctrine back in it was 1806 or 1807, something like that. Might have been more earlier than that, but this whole society stopped being uh, started not being a patriarchal society. So the 10 years doctrine, at first it was 7 years old, where the responsibility of the child was, even though the mother had possession of the child, um, she could only have possession of the child till the child was 7. And then they raised it to 16. And back then in 1896, if you were 16 years old, you're an adult. So basically, the ownership of the child was actually transferred over to the mother. That's probably the end of your patriarchy. But the thing is, we kept using patriarchal rules really up until like 1960, and all that shit's been eroded. So people only feminists say it's a patriarchy. 24 tribes. Like I said, don't start this shit. All right, I just said it. I don't care about you disagreeing. I said don't start that shit because it's not about. Somebody asked me about it. It's not. This is not what the channel's about. Yeah, well, in other words, the line of succession goes to the female, but they're still in charge. Yeah, which most women, most of your experts describe that as a matriarchy. That's the definition. Because when I actually when it came to the gynocracy, I went to the World Conference on matriarchy. Okay, where they all get together and actually define it, and this is the way it's defined. Now, if you can find a definition that's different, please do. Go get your sources and come back with the definition. This is the definition that they give. Okay, defining a matriarchy, a matriarchal society. But if you go anyplace else, basically there's a matrilineal bent. I'm not saying that it's organized that way because all it is how you organize people. And basically if you go back in time, before they started domesticating animals, basically most societies were matriarchal anyway because they didn't know they didn't know that semen from the father actually produced children. So there was no father. Okay, all they know is the girl got pregnant and children were born. That's all they knew. So your original imprint, your original structure to organize people was a matriarchy, was the clan, and that's your basic format. That's like I'm having a lot of out of wedlock births, and this actually organized around a family clan. That's built into your DNA. Patriarchy only arose when basically one when we started um, herding animals, and then secondly, the actually patriarchy actually arose when we actually stopped herding and start growing crops in the agriculture. That's when your patriarchal rules actually rose up. What kind of foods do I eat? Everything. So that would take too long to name. I should be a vegan because all my good friends are vegans. My conscious community friends, they're all vegans, but I am not one of those people. I don't, I don't mind vegetarian food, but some people, you got to have a taste for vegetarian food. Now, my mother's from the old South, and in vegan food you know, it depends on who how it's cooked. If it's cooked right, it's fine. But for most part, vegan food is you have to develop a taste for it. You got to develop a palate for it. I never really did. So I eat the standard American diet. Yeah, there is. They had too many damn good. And those tacos are actually taco stands are actually good, especially the ones from Guatemala. You switch out bacon for oyster mushrooms. Yeah, well, yeah. If you got the taste for it, I don't really eat bacon that much. So, yeah, it is bland. Yeah, some people actually cook very good vegan food, and I've eaten very good vegan dishes. And the people that are really good at it, um, were actually masters, man. Because I was trying to tell my all my vegan friends, I said if you can get it to taste, taste similar to what people are used to, people will switch. But vegans, man, I don't know about that, man. They said, no, man, you got to change your palate. Have I been to stuff I eat? No. Simply Wholesome, they have some good vegan dishes because I've been there. And there's yeah, some vegan dishes are actually quite good. But the closest I come to a vegan is salads and bean burritos. As close as I come. Now, well, I have a standard American diet. I mean, I try to stay away from the really bad stuff, but I wouldn't even know what Vietnamese pho is. So, I mean, I've eaten at some Vietnamese restaurants, but they're far and few in between. And I don't feel like driving you know, to the valley to get it. Well, everybody has their taste. Yeah, if you can find it, if you there's some spots that have good vegan food, but they're far and few in between. Okay, what's a good book that it breaks down a liberal and conservative argument? Damn, that's a good question. I don't know of really one book that actually breaks it down properly. I can't think of one. They're kind of all over the place because conservatism is just like liberalism is fluid, and sometimes they agree, sometimes they don't. But I can't think of one good one that I would suggest. So I eat nothing that helps the brain. Uh, it depends. I take herbs and stuff like that, but not really. I don't know why that's a roast mash. I don't know why that's important though. Detoxing is actually very important. I do a cleanse like maybe twice a year. I do a liver cleanse. In fact, Nicole has actually talked about detoxing, especially detoxing liver to slow down the aging process. I think she's doing research on that. So she actually talked about uh, the state of the liver is actually reflects the state of the body. So she's actually researching the connection between liver and because the liver actually sends out hormones and chemicals for the cells, so that the cells in the liver actually talk to each other. And she's doing research on that. She's actually onto something. I told her if she wants to make some money, she needs to go into health. You know, natural health with her ideas. Yeah, you have to go to San Fernando Valley to get that stuff, man. And you got to get the right ones. Well, they're not firing them. Okay. Firebrand, I done told y'all about these vaccines, right? And you guys don't believe fat meat is greasy. Okay. You don't believe fat meat is greasy. Now, the healthcare workers can find other jobs. They'll find other jobs, but they're gonna ride that till the wheels fall off. I don't know why y'all surprised. You think they're gonna buckle? You got the wrong president if you think he's gonna buckle. Am I a liberal? No. I don't know why you. I don't. You guys been listening to me for 7 years, okay? And you keep asking me, am I a liberal? If you wanna come up and ask me, if I'll drop the link. You want to come up and ask me if I'm a liberal? Since we can't, since KG's not coming up. Yeah, that was behind the wall. That's behind the wall. Yeah, we can't talk like that in open public. So that's why it's a Patreon stream. Y'all would need to copy that because I might I might take that, I might put that one on private. So y'all need to watch that one before it goes off because I might put that one on private. But that was fire. There's a lot of stuff in there, man. That is not for popular consumption. Roastmaster, I am in the conscious community, man. I have a partner. He's written about 5 books. He's a raw food vegan. Okay, so they talk about this stuff incessantly. I've been listening to this stuff for the last 30 years. So I'm not saying that this is just a choice. It has nothing to do with information. There's a lot of liberals in this space. Progressives and liberals. There's lots of them. I'm gonna actually start making. I don't think you're gonna have a government shutdown. I really don't. Well, them hitting the not passing the debt ceiling, raising the debt ceiling. They've never shut down the government. They can't. Will they slow it down? Will they suspend some services? Yes, but they've never shut down the government. This is not the first time they've done this. Go look up the debt ceiling debates, man. I think one time I think it lasted like 6 months. They never shut down the government. Yeah, black in effect is a progressive. You're a W. Du Bois style commie. Okay, whatever that means. Communism, socialism comes in all flavors. Uh, there are there's gradations to how they do the COVID response. Okay, the United States is not in a severe lockdown over COVID. Not even close, man. We're actually quite permissive. I can't drop the link, but I'm trying to wait on somebody because I don't want to be here all day. No, they can't. What they want to do and what they can do are two different things because we don't have the same society. If they could have done what Australia did, they would have done it a long time ago. They would have done it. Um, they'd have done it a while back. They can't. This country's way too liberal. Well, he might be scared. I don't know. I don't know if he's listening. I don't know if he's listening. And the brother that asked me was I liberal? What is he? And how does he define a liberal? How does he define a conservative? Because most of these conservatives are liberal. As Gigi says, Green Gorilla says, negative liberty. What's up, Rodney? You ought to, I don't know if you caught it. You ought to, well, they're just doing that study. You ought to keep uh, an eye on that study that's going on in India with the ivermectin kits, since they handing out like what is it, a half a billion of these kits. So we can actually learn how effective ivermectin is, or the ivermectin protocol is, because they're going to do. They think they handed out like at one time they handed like 500,000 kits. So they're gonna hand out like a few million of these kits. So we can actually find out how well it actually works. Does he have a book on? Yeah, well, I would love to tell you who he is, but I think he does. I think it's in one of his books. Hey, Mr. Goodbar, what's up? Dr. Goodbar. I like to see the Dr. Dunbar embrace that name, man. Uh, I see Dr. Dunbar, got his beard shaven, man, got the hat cocked to the side, got his crispy suit on and his his $500 shoes, walk in and with his little card. They say, "Who are you?" Dr. Goodbar at your service. Yeah, well, but that's any advanced post um any post industrial country has generous benefits for its women. France does. France, Sweden, the UK, they all do. Anyway, any other questions? Neoliberalism is the opposite of socialism. Neoliberalism is the opposite of socialism. Neoliberalism is neo-capitalist. Go back and look at laissez-faire liberalism in France. Okay, those are basically a mercantile ideology about money. Let them do where the rich actually your trickle down tax theory, okay, about cutting taxes on the rich, and then hopefully that the money will actually trickle down to the rest of the economy. That's a neoliberalist idea coming out of the University of Chicago. So neocons and neoliberals are basically two sides of the same coin. Because because guess what, bruh? Firebrand. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter what your the theory is. Okay, it doesn't matter, right? If it doesn't agree with the experiment, it's wrong. You got a billion people that took the goddamn thing. Doesn't matter what he says. You're looking at it. Don't matter. I don't care what he invented. He doesn't know any more than anybody else because basically, if you shoot enough people up with it, you shoot enough people with it. Guess what? Guess what's going to happen? There's your experiment. Art, thank you for the cash app. Is it 34? I'll give him like 5 more minutes. The investors are worried about what black men are doing because black men are their last resort. In other words, if nothing else works, black men are the one that have to pick up the tab because white men don't marry them. White men do not marry them. That's the problem. I don't even know why divestors even talk because black men actually are better divestors than they are. In fact, I got to do a video on that. Let's see if I can find this. I was looking for this for Dr. Johnson, and so I was going through my all my charts because I have shit all over the place, right? And I'm show this. It show if the investors talk shit, right? And this is something that even the whatchamacallit, even the feminists say, even the radical feminists say, is that white men don't marry them. Okay, they want white status. This is interracial married men, black men and women since 19. I think this is 1940. Okay, and this is before the breakout. See, this is the breakout. Okay, this is women. This is men. Right. Okay, as far as marriages are concerned, black men have always more than doubled, almost tripled the amount of interracial marriages versus black women. Okay, black men are actually better divestors. They just don't talk about it. Black men are actually better divestors. So that divestment bullshit is just what bullshit. If women are actually good at doing it, black women are actually good at doing it, they would have done it already. They're not good at it. So they try to couch it in terms that okay, the only reason that black women aren't divested is because they're loyal. That's bullshit. Because I actually showed that. I actually showed the two clips of out of wedlock birth, not out of wedlock, but actually births, right? Uh, the black men siring and black women having, right? Black women have 1.2 million babies more than black men actually produce. How does that work? But it doesn't translate into marriages. So who's the real baby daddy? They're not loyal. They just can't. They just black white men don't marry them, and that's been the case. If Frazier said that, I know I had to collect this and do this in a video. 'Cause I'm getting kind of get tired of it because I hear the divestment shit is bullshit. Because even Crystal Carrison had to admit, man, she actually had a retreat, right, for her her supporters, right? Okay, W- give me a guess. What percentage of Crystal Carrison supporters that showed up were actually divestors? Give me a guess. Give me a guess. Put the guess up. What percentage were actually divestors? See if you guys know. Almost 20%. Let's see what you guys got. He is an alpha. I don't know why you guys bringing this shit up. 1%. Nine. It's about 10%. Okay, it's not 100%. It's 10%. 10% of her crew, the people that showed up at her seminar, and it's like I think it's like 300 women. 10% were actually divestors, but actually had a spouse a spouse or boyfriend other than black. 10%. The video would get me a strike in an hour. I don't think so. It's about 10%. Russell Wilson is an alpha man. I don't know what you think. You think because basically Sierra's twerking without his permission. That's what you guys think. You guys think that she's just doing whatever the fuck she wants to do on her own accord. She is not. She's doing it with his permission. What is he trying to do? He's trying to garner attention to not only her but also his brand. He Sierra got Russell. No, you got it backwards, boss. See, that's what you think because that's the way you run. You organize your shit. Russell Wilson is about entertainment. She might have. Sierra got an ass. Let's not get it twisted. She might not. She don't have one of them big bodacious BBL asses, Brazilian butt lift asses. You know, but that you guys like. But yeah, she got an ass. Okay, she's got a model. She's got a model's body. So she's not gonna be. She's not supposed to be a big person. She she's perking right next to him. Exactly. Okay, with his permission. He's the one filming her. She's not. He didn't pick her to be Mary Poppins. Okay. Russell Wilson. Yeah, they were wife swapping, sir. They were wife swapping. Russell's. Yeah, that's Russell's ass at the end of the day. In fact, let me pull it up. Let me see if I can find this because actually, because you guys look at one thing, and you look at the shit you guys want to look at, and let's see if we can find it. Sierra's see if we can find her Instagram. I think it was on Instagram. Yeah, so you can find it because it was because you guys noticed that one, but you didn't notice the other one when she was wearing his jersey. She went to I think it was a fashion shoot, but she was wearing his number. See if I can find it. You guys think that she's doing it without his permission. That's what you think, because we could. I hate to say it, y'all squares, man. It was a gala. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what a gala where she was wearing his number, and uh, and he was checking in on her, and she says number three. She said number three in the building. So you can find it. So you can find a gala. I can't find it. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a video of her gala because she was actually wearing his number and his Super Bowl ring. Uh, and she was FaceTiming him, and she said, "We in the building, baby." He's running this shit, man. I don't know why. I don't even know why you guys think anything different because y'all squares, which is kind of which is funny. And I got to remember that you guys are squares. It's a Met Gala. Yeah, let's see. I'd rather have her than Jada Pinkett right now. That's number three. She's wearing his ring. She was wearing his ring. She's got a little football. She's got his number three. She's in pocket. But the thing is, you guys don't live that life. You guys live a square life. Appreciate the cash app, Eric. Nah, she's not wax. We can talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute when I drop the link. Okay. Yeah. The thing is, you guys, it's funny. Y'all squares, man. Not that one. Nah. I showed you. You want the twerk. Okay. The one with the twerk. If you look at the twerk video, where is he? He's right there with her. Guess what he's doing? He's encouraging her to twerk. Nah, y'all squares, okay? You not you don't you don't realize what y'all think. You guys think you know Russell Wilson, right? Russell, remember when the thing came out, the rumors are coming out about Russell Wilson and fucking all the IG models. All of a sudden, it got squashed. That shit, they squashed that shit, man, because they want you to think that Russell Wilson is this goofy square, and he's not, because that's his image. They all pass them. I remember when I was saying that I was talking about the game is the game, right? And you talk about how you pick them. What's the basketball player? What's his name? That just he's 20 years in the league, right? Married 16 years, and as soon as he retired, guess what his wife did? She bounced, and that's his high school sweetheart. That's his high school sweetheart. And let me go. Let me go and give you. Go give you a wrench, my truth. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk for about 30 minutes since it looks like Mr. KG's not gonna show up, and you guys all showed out. So, wife. No, it wasn't KG. It was actually what's his name? He just retired. Center just came out of just came out of L.A. Married 16 years. Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler. That's his high school sweetheart. Tyson Chandler. He just retired and been with her. Been with her since they were in high school. 15-year-old daughter, 12-year-old son, another 11-year-old daughter. She bounced. As soon as he retired, she bounced. She cashed in. Different life, man. But you guys want to believe the the press clippings.
Hey, what's good, BGS?
Hey, what's up?
Like I said,
Evening, sir.
that's his ass and Coochie. At the end of the day, I don't know why you niggas are worried about what she's doing on TikTok.
Yeah,
She should
I
have died
mean,
alone. That's why she should have died alone.
what I'm saying is, but no, but very few people said anything about Kanye West marrying Kim Kardashian and having
Yep.
kids with it, and we got Kim on tape. Okay,
Yeah. And at the
Yeah,
end of the day, that's his business.
it's his
You gonna
business,
stop? You gonna stop him?
and he made out like a fucking bandit. It's
Yes,
business,
he
right?
did.
He went from being
BGS
he
something
went from
like
being like $100 million in the hole to being a billionaire.
Yep.
Made out like a motherfucking bandit. It's business.
BGS. These folks need to get a life for real. Worried about what Sierra's doing, this, that, and the third. Man, that's a
Yeah,
married woman.
it's
Yeah,
a,
she
I
got
told
somebody
y'all.
responsible for
You,
her.
you,
and her husband was right next to her. The thing is, if one thing if she's out with another dude twerking, but she's at home with her husband.
That's Mr. Wilson's business. Nobody else's.
Yep.
No, they
I know.
see they were they
They want
basically
that ass done for themselves, but
yeah they
it's not
really
going to
do.
happen.
Yeah, in other words, Russell Wilson is really their patron saint. Is because he got the appearance of being goofy. Russell Wilson is not goofy.
mm, you know, I
He's not, he
real
might
quick,
not
truth,
even be a nice guy. He might you
truth. You're choppy. You're coming in
you're
choppy.
choppy. You
Yeah,
cop
you're
choppy.
very choppy, true.
You must be at work, man.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
and a lot of this is to me. It's Sierra. Sierra's very attractive, and when she ended up with Future, niggas wanted her to die alone. I'm not like I'm being facetious, but I'm really being serious. Niggas wanted to see her die with her cats in her face in some apartment or under a bridge somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
because they were in love with her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. How dare you end up with a Pookie and you got pregnant by a Pookie?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Right? I'm
Ooh.
telling you, I'm like, y'all need to let it go, bro. Let it go.
Okay,
Sierra won.
Sierra's
She
fine, but
made
it's
it out.
not
She
that
won.
deep.
Yeah. Yeah. And she can't win. Damn it. She can't
Right?
win.
I want to see
She
her
can't
die
win.
alone.
I would die
Especially if you
alone.
around my age, BGS, because I'm 35, so I grew up like high school. Sierra was that chick in my 12th grade year, 11th grade year. She was everywhere. So niggas like me are like, So she got pregnant by Future. Oh, that bitch need
Yeah,
to die
you
alone.
die
Like, let her
alone.
go.
Yeah,
Let her go,
yeah.
bro. Oh my God, y'all can't be this bad. Y'all can't.
They're squares, man.
It ain't
I don't
that
know what
serious.
they
See,
want.
you
They want
better
to be.
go
They
get
want to
them
be right.
boys some help, man. You better get them boys some help, G. Everybody in your clan and your age group.
No,
She
my
ain't all
shit.
that.
My friend circle is
She
still like,
just
all
like
right,
the
she
Russell,
made
but
it
she
out.
ain't all that.
How about now?
Yeah, you
No, you
better.
good now, truth.
You good?
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we
Hold
gonna
on.
go. We gonna go an hour, and then we gonna then them a bounce because
All right.
homeboy's not gonna show up. But go ahead.
Yeah, he ain't showing up because he's scared. But everybody in here, get the likes up, man. We man, how the hell y'all 100 likes down, man? Where are the likes at? Why can't y'all hit the like button? Hit the like button, man. We been here for 50 minutes. You niggas been asking BGS over 100 questions, trying to siphon
Hmm.
information off this nigga like a goddamn leech. You can't even hit the like button. Hit the like button,
Yeah.
man.
And let me ask these guys a question. What is she doing that she doesn't do on stage when she's performing?
Nah,
Nothing.
shit. Nothing.
Let's share it because everybody talks about this. Oh, Russell Wilson is Russell
Simp.
Wilson is simping.
How is he simping, boss, when he married the woman?
Who
Holy
cares
shit.
if he's simping? What the fuck? Who
How's he
cares?
simple when he's in the damn video? That's my question.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah, yeah.
who cares?
And you think
Who
Damn, that
if she
isn't
was
nice ass.
alone
I'm
doing
just
this?
saying. And
Yeah,
see, he's right there.
yeah, right there. Yeah, that's pimping,
who
boss.
cares? Who cares? Like,
That is a
bro,
nice
he's
ass,
Boss,
but
I don't understand why we this
what
topic
they
keeps
saying,
coming back
though?
up.
Because
What
at
has
the
he
end of the
said?
day, she should have never made a pit stop at Future. That's
Oh,
what they
this
meant. She should have went straight to Russell Wilson, and the fact that she made a pit stop at Future and had a baby from him, these niggas, I'ma say it from the goddamn rooftop with a blowhorn. They wanted her to die alone. Okay,
bro.
they wanted her to. You know who they wanted her to look like? Chris Tucker off of was it um dead presidents. They wanted her to look like that when the cops ran up in the apartment. They wanted her to look like that, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's get it straight. Let's because Night King says sisters was always will reach down to the gutter. So will black men. Look at what we
Say
date.
that.
yep.
Black men have shouldn't have
These
the
niggas
audacity to
crazy.
talk about fucking standards, right? Y'all the
Bro,
last people to be talk
bro,
about standards.
don't have you niggas date milfs and fat bitches? Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
I
shut the
just
fuck
find it.
up,
I just
Y'all
find it
act
like
like
a bit
y'all act like
strange.
y'all got standards.
please,
I
Y'all act,
please.
find it a little strange that Russell Wilson still comes up in any sort of type of debate. Because I mean the celebrities in America all are really just our form of aristocracy to some extent, right?
Yep.
Bro,
mm,
And if that's the
how
case,
many?
rich people never live by this. Never at any time in history lived by the same standards as the commoners ever.
yeah.
How
Yet
can
Say that.
somehow we want to protect our views on them. Like that shit makes sense. It doesn't.
Well,
how,
there's a reason
bro?
why Russell Wilson keeps coming up in the chat as far as the chatter. It's simply
Why?
because he is he I put it like this: people are majoring in the minor
What do you mean by
Like,
that?
I don't.
No, hold on,
because
hold on.
you don't see men of his caliber and especially his exterior demeanor that we quote unquote know about him publicly.
Mm-hmm.
They
Uh-huh.
don't marry chicks like that.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's bullshit. They do all the time.
Bro,
Yes, they
Shit.
do
why?
all the time.
It doesn't. But it doesn't even. Why do? How many times do we have to go over these same points
Because
over and over
BGS already
again?
said it. People see themselves as the Russell Wilson, especially in this
But you're
space, the Black
not. It
Manosphere.
doesn't
Hold up.
And,
matter.
and wait, let me land. Let me land.
True. Calm
Yeah, let
down,
me
man.
land. People see themselves as the Russell Wilson figure. And if they were Russell Wilson, they're like,
Yeah.
there's no way I would take her after she's been with Future.
Bullshit.
And
Okay,
that's
every
exactly BGS, the biggest crock of shit, because yes, you would.
No,
everyone in
you
the chat,
would.
everyone in the chat, just so you understand.
Look at PJ Renner, right? I mean PJ
Watch
No,
it.
Washington.
you said it right. You
Yeah,
said it
what?
right. It's PJ Renner now. You did say it. You said it
Y'all
right.
ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit. All right, yeah. Look at PJ Washington. PJ Washington, for all intents and purposes, is pretty much a Russell Wilson type, right?
But
Mhm.
he's also a victim.
Huh? No, he's
He's
not.
also
He's
a
a
Nah,
victim.
volunteer. He's a
nah.
volunteer.
He's a victim of his own stupidity.
But
Uh,
what?
That's his fault. It ain't my
But
concern.
what did he pick?
He picked a whore.
He picked a
It is
whore,
what it
right?
He
is.
picked a
No, that's
talentless
a
whore.
slur. She next level.
A known whore. Okay, she
An
was
upfront whore.
she wasn't a celebrity that dates in her class. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because no, okay, if Sierra was just a regular chick, say she's a regular boardroom chick, right, a regular white collar chick, right, and she's dating executives and she's dating businessmen, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, nobody would say anything because she could have like 50 guys. She can actually date 50 guys, right, of that caliber because those are the people in her class. Okay, Sierra dated people in her class. Russell, regardless of what we say about Future, Future is in that class of people, which is entertainment.
True.
Sports and entertainment is the same thing. If you look, who did she date? Now she dated, say, Truth or Smurgo. You can say something. What's she date with this dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, wait.
No. No, what I'm saying is, there's no slur against you. You're a regular dude. You're not in her class.
For now.
You know
For
what?
now.
You know what? I have a theory that I've kicked around for years,
Hmm.
and
You
you
can get
know
off my
it's
shit
like
like GS Son and start hooping.
same seeks same when it comes to mentality. Flat out,
They do. They do.
same
Mm-hmm.
seeks same when it comes to mentality. I mean, like I was talking with you. Remember Marcus BGS,
Yeah.
and we were talking about because you know he likes to argue for the sake of fucking arguing. Sorry,
Uh, uh,
excuse my language,
no,
but
Jose, MGTOW Cowboy. This is not a MGTOW channel. Okay, my
but
MGTOW channel is Black Gnostic Speaks. Okay.
yeah. So he was talking about trying to say how these college educated Harvard degree chicks date low life thugs, and I was trying to tell. I was like, dude, I was like, just because a chick, excuse me, I'm
Bless you.
sorry, just because a
Bless you.
chick has education and money, it doesn't mean anything. Like, like she has the same mentality as the pan sagging thug.
Hmm.
Because if she had a different mentality than him, then he wouldn't even be able to sniff that, let
Mm-hmm.
alone be in the same room alone. Women and men and women who have a higher caliber mentality than degenerates do not date and sleep with degenerates unless they
Oh, they do
wait,
sleep with.
let me
Oh
finish.
no. They do sleep with
Unless they
degenerates.
are slumming and it's not something that they put a ring on or
No.
shack up with or anything like that.
If a chick if a chick went to Harvard and and she dated, I mean, openly dated. I'm not talking about a guy, a rapper or something like that, because they're entertainment. They're entertainers. Okay, they're in a
Mm-hmm.
different class of people. Okay, if she openly dated a regular dude that's a thug or whatever, okay, then you have to look at her background. Where did she grow up and who her parents are?
Mm.
Because those guys are an imprint. You ain't gonna see it's gonna be very rare. You're gonna see a Harvard trained, highly college educated Ivy League chick openly date a thug. Now, will she get a thug to service her between midnight and 5? Yeah, they do that all the time. Hell, rich guys do that shit all the time.
Matter of fact, you know
And
what?
another thing to the
One
to
time,
the
one
chat.
One quick word. I
uh,
remember me and my niece, we went to go get something to eat at
mm-hmm,
downtown at this food spot.
mm-hmm,
And there was this pretty ass, could be in a movie as Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter type of white girl. I mean,
mm-hmm,
she was a rose
mm-hmm,
in a den of shit. And on her arm was some skinny pants sagging, neck, face tattoos. I mean, this guy was straight from the ghetto,
mm-hmm,
and she was just all over him. And
mm-hmm,
the first thought that came to my mind is that she trying to piss her daddy off.
mm-hmm.
She trying to piss her daddy off because there was no way that relationship had any type of long-term future. That was a quick fling. You could clearly see it. Even my niece
Mm-hmm.
saw it. She was like yeah, like she just fucking him.
How,
I
how,
was like, yeah.
how old was she?
This girl looked to be about 18, 19 years old.
And she is there's a college experience.
Yep.
They all do that shit.
Yep.
So when we talk about adult relationships,
Is it
It,
possible
it,
that with media and with social media now, that imprint could even stretch out to some of your suburb? I'm not saying all or most, but maybe a small chunk of like your suburban non-black women, right? Like
As
because
far as relationship, no.
okay, but like
You
but
do understand
something
a
that they
lot of
want
black
to.
women have never grown up. You have child-minded 40, 50-year-old black men and women out here.
Oh yeah,
That's
no, I
true.
agree with that.
That,
No,
that's
I agree
that's
with that.
true.
Hmm.
That's true. But the thing is that when it comes to that's how come I came over the octane thing, and
Hmm.
basically, I've interviewed. God, it's got to be like 3,000 people, right? And it basically class wins out, man. And the only time you see the only difference in class that you see is what I call climbers. That's because of Bill Clinton sending a lot of the lower class women that were either baby mamas or welfare minded chicks opening up the college ranks so that they can get better jobs. So now
Mhm.
what you have is a class of what I call climbers that actually are from the ghetto, from the projects, or from lower class, working class people, and because of their education and hard work, they work their way up. But the thing is, they still have the same imprint that they developed when they were kids, so it throws a lot
mm,
of people off because you see this chick in a BMW and basically and this Pookie coming to pick her up, from work and trying to figure it out.
truth and shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, and
And
it's
Smurgo.
yeah. Well, well,
One
Smurgo
of the
was
bulldogs,
well,
the protecting
Smurgo
agents.
well, actually Smurgo, Smurgo actually exposed himself about dating older chicks, man.
Yeah, he did,
But
nigga. That
so
was
so basically, what Smurgo's doing, Smurgo is their concubine.
CompuServe.
He's a
so at least
CompuServe.
so
He's
that nigga
servicing
he
them.
like so he's the servicer. Like at
He's
least
a
I'm the
service.
bulldog. That nigga
He's a
ain't even the
servicer.
bulldog. He's
Ain't no rich chick gonna try
vibrator.
to marry. Ain't no rich chick is gonna try to marry him up. The same thing is a rich dude and a sugar baby.
You know, I wanted to address something real quick.
Uh,
Y'all
mm-hmm.
Can we not
really
talk
need
about
this.
Russ? No,
Go ahead.
please. I'm tired of talking about Russ. I just want to say this. Everybody in the chat, I just want to say this. Is
If
that's
you
what I really want to say.
if
Everyone,
they want to talk about Russell Wilson, they can get their asses up here. Okay, that's what the
okay,
link is
just
for.
Yeah.
I just want to say this.
Real quick.
Then we done with it. Then we done with it. Everyone in the chat, until you throw the football like Russell Wilson and at his efficiency, you will not be on his level. So questions regarding his relationship status or anything he does in his life are irrelevant to you. Please stop
And
commenting them in BGS's chat. And if you're not hitting the like button, you really shouldn't be saying nothing. Hit the
I
tag, pay
actually
your taxes, nigga.
I actually played the Russell Wilson's out of his own words why he picked Sierra. Right? He said
Mhm.
ultimately he wanted a woman that's going to tilt the room. He wanted a woman that will bring attention to him and his brand. That's what he got. So her twerking does what? Brings controversy. And guess what it does? It brings attention to her. It brings attention to his brand. That's what he wants. Is it goofy? Would I do it? Probably not. That's that's his theory. His way of doing
That's
things.
his
He
mission.
That's
Mhm.
his mission. Okay,
You
go ahead.
posting that video was the first time I ever saw it. I don't care for it. I don't care what they do.
Yeah.
I have better things
It
to
is
do
what it
than
is.
worry about what the hell a
Uh,
celebrity is doing.
Yeah, I do too. But the thing is, guess who asked me about that shit?
I'm listening.
Black men.
You had 5 people in this comment section ask me about Russell Wilson and Sierra
Yeah.
twerk.
Why? Who cares?
And
You
what
ain't
Because they live
fucking her.
vicariously through
You ain't
Russell
fucking
Wilson.
her. You don't know Russell
Exactly. That's my
Wilson
point.
well, hold on,
personally. None of that. It's ridiculous. Who cares?
because they care. They care,
Why?
obviously.
Why?
Because they live vicariously through Russell
Exactly.
Wilson and Sierra.
Like
And
I
that's
said.
ridiculous. That's
It is ridiculous.
ridiculous.
But the thing is, that's what fame does for you. Because how
Mhm.
do you get people to buy your shit? Because they live
Mhm.
through you.
Yeah.
God damn, man, you
We were
niggas.
supposed to be talking politics, man.
Oh,
I was
he's
here
Yeah,
for
not.
the bullshit.
I actually
He's not.
came up to talk a little bit about
You
politics.
know
No
what I'm
lie,
saying?
I'm at
I
work.
came
Yeah,
up for
I
the
came up
Oh
for
bullshit.
yeah,
that.
what's
I mean,
going on
I
with
was
China,
waiting.
man?
I'm
Fuck
over here
Russell
waiting
Wilson.
patiently.
basically, because I hear these so-called conservative chest thumpers, right? Talk about there's no such thing as white supremacy. Okay, Negro. Well, why don't you go over there to the white people's side, like 4chan? Okay,
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't believe in white supremacy, why don't you go into the white people section, right? Go to the white red pill. Okay, we just saw that shit with because Donovan Sharp thought he was in all good with the no. Now I can say this, and I like Donovan Sharp, so this ain't no shade on Donovan, right? This ain't no shade on him, right? Okay. But Kevin rose up and Donovan rode with Kevin, and Kevin came in and checked them three white chicks, and them white boys, white supremacy had a motherfucking fit. Start going after
Mm-hmm.
him. Don't tell me that white supremacy does not exist, because it does. Because at any time, white supremacy can come to your neighborhood, come to your house and check you. Okay, try going to a white neighborhood and checking some white people and see what happens to you.
You get run up out of there.
You get if not disappeared. Okay.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Sundown Town.
Well,
You'll be hanging from a rope, and the FBI will label you a suicide.
Mm-hmm.
right, and
Somebody's lemon tree, nigga.
And then
Somebody, somebody's oak tree.
we see aircraft carriers pull up to God knows
thank
how
you.
many people of colors,
Mm-hmm.
so-called people of colors, countries, and and basically laying the smack down on them and tell them what's getting ready to happen. Right? Do you see China or any other so-called people of colors move their boats up to Europe, to any European country, and try to lay the smack down on them? I'll wait.
But
I'll wait.
you saw what I did, BGS. I brought up the numbers. You saw me and him were going back and forth too. He's like, well, the laws, and I'm like, well, your legislature is like 80+% white, even though the population is 60% white. Name the group of people that overcame white supremacy on the planet over the past 500 years. Name them. And I'm Haitian descent. We won one thing, and they still beat us.
White supremacy is not that old. White supremacy is not 500 years old. It's only a couple hundred years old, right? White supremacy is global. Okay, when China failed in the 1850s, that was white supremacy, because China was the most dominant country on the planet, trading country on the planet. Okay, and they walked in with those cannons and those gunboats, and they took over the whole motherfucking country, right? That's why it is.
And that was a small island.
That's white supremacy. No, they took more than just the small island. It took all of Europe to actually do this shit. Remember the conference, the Berlin Conference on China?
Yeah.
That's all of Europe, boss. Okay.
No, I'm thinking about the Opium Wars. My apologies.
Well, the opium wars was not just the Brits. Okay. So in other words,
I like how China trying to solve their drug problem.
Just murk them.
they Thanos them motherfuckers the old
Okay,
way. Before the Infinity Stones, they Thanos them.
Go ahead, Pookie.
And I was just wondering, I got two things. Bitter Truth, is that your baby mama pouring that into your truck? And BGS, I was just gonna say, what was the argument that KG was even phrasing in the comment section? Because I would look down there, that nigga went to war. He was like World War III. He was on Uru ass. He just was in everybody comments with that he had seen on the panel before. And I disagree and this and what was the whole. What is there to disagree with? I'm so confused.
To answer that question, my wife is dead, so no, that's not her.
Damn.
No.
Okay. Said your baby mama, not your wife.
You got morbid real quick. I'm okay.
No, he's just somebody in the comment, man. But basically, the the argument is his definition of white supremacy.
Yeah.
Okay, his definition of white supremacy is different from mine. Okay, he says because there, especially in this country, okay, there's people of color that are in legislative positions. So that means there's no such thing as white supremacy.
Bro,
my thing is, I said, who's in charge? I don't care if you got black faces sitting at seats. Who's in charge?
BGS, I think a good. I mean, like, I feel like like you were saying, he was talking about like KKK type stuff. I think you're really talking about, especially like the hegemony of it all.
Yeah.
You know what You know what the KKK was actually developed for? You want to know?
Go ahead.
KKK was actually developed to keep you motherfuckers down basically on the plantation after you were freed. So basically, they threatened you as
the Reconstruction,
as sharecroppers. Okay, let me ask you this, because a lot of people talk about morality, don't talk about business, right? Okay, and I heard this from a guy. He's actually a Civil War historian, right? So good old Southern boy, right? But his facts are actually correct, right? Before the Civil War, guess what percentage of the budget that the South was actually responsible for in the United States? Guess what percentage it was?
Probably 80% or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely a
82%,
majority for sure.
82%, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
And so
Yeah, I
you
mean, all
pass.
the Ivy League schools
I didn't
were
know it was
built
that
with
much. That's
all
crazy.
the Ivy League schools were built with Southern money.
So basically,
Yep.
so let me ask you this: you President Lincoln, right? You need to build a railroad. Basically, you need because the United States is getting ready to expand. You need money, right? So you raise your tariffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to pay the majority of them?
Niggas making the
The
most money.
South.
The
The
South,
South.
right?
That's
The
probably
South.
why they were mad because they
And
had to
that's
they
and the,
spend
and the
the bill.
South
Hell,
and South Carolina said if you impose because if you go back to 1828, right? They made an agreement to lower the tariffs to a certain percent. I think it's like 12%, right? Tariffs, right?
mm-hmm.
They made an agreement in 1828.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so they made that agreement to say we won't secede if we come to this compromise of 12% tariffs, right? But if you raise it, okay, we actually reserve the right to secede, which was their right. Okay, the Lincoln raised it to I think he raised it like 25% tariffs. He doubled the tariffs. Okay, you as a southerner, as a southern state knows that they just doubled your taxes. Would you stand for that?
So basically, you're saying it was basically like the American Revolution, but with the South. Basically,
All right, would you stand for that?
you talking to me?
ITR.
Yes, you.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
Another so South Carolina says unless you lower the taxes, we're going to secede. And Lincoln says we need this money. We come down to motherfucking collect.
Don't hear that shit.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
that's what the Civil War was about. The Civil War was not about slavery because the slaves made way too much money, right? So as a war tactic, Lincoln abolished slavery. Okay, to win the war because most of the slaves did all the work and fed people.
Right, I knew that part. I heard that part.
So army does not fight. Army fights on the stomach. Okay, guns and bullets are one thing, but if you don't eat, you're not gonna fight for very well. You're gonna lose. Okay, I don't care how many weapons and bullets you have. You're gonna lose. Okay, so he gutted their economy by doing that. But the thing is, 82% of your wealth comes from the South. And if you free the labor class on that South that actually, number one, brings in the money, and also, guess what? Have all these factories. Where do the raw materials come from?
Came from the slaves. That's where they were exporting much of the stuff that was coming off the plantation in different countries to be manufactured,
and
aka
also
the Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution actually built on cotton and cotton.
They was exporting the fucking cotton around the world to build clothes and shit.
And guess what? All those mills up north were actually running on cotton from down south, right?
Exactly,
what happens to your economy when you just free your labor class?
She gets chopped.
Hold on, Truth. Now I'm asking him. He's asking a question. What happens to your economy if you free your labor class? I'm asking him. Is he still there? Hunt, you still there?
Nigga.
Oh, you talking to me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You asked the question. You asked the question, right?
Which question? No, I didn't ask. I didn't ask a question.
In other words, you free your labor class. You free the labor class, and you need these people. You just free back where they were, right? And you can't do it because legally they're free. How do you force them back down?
Terrorize.
Yeah, exactly. The Klan.
The KKK is actually built for that. That's what they're there for. They were actually started right after Reconstruction.
For Reconstruction, yeah.
And they actually re-implemented after World War I when Negroes thought that because they went to war they were free. Birth of a nation.
That's crazy.
It's economics, and it didn't end until 1963 when they didn't need you anymore on the farm because they had mechanized. The whole thing about follow the money. Okay, you can follow the social, you can follow the history, but also follow the economic history because people do shit for a reason.
And that's the thing with even the people who deny white supremacy. If they just follow the money, they come to the same conclusion, but they refuse to do it.
Yeah.
But there are, and I'm a firm believer in this. Some of us, we can wake up in the morning, know what the world is, and still go out and do the best we can. And some of us need to believe that the world is way more open and free and everything's chill and it's just all in your mind, and all these negative things that people are talking about, that's all in your mind, and that's a figment of their imagination and their downers and all of that, right? Some of us need to believe that things are way more happy than they really actually are for us to work.
Niggas aren't alphas. That's why.
No, I
Niggas
don't
are
think it
bad.
comes down to alpha or beta
Well,
thing.
I,
I
I,
just
I think
go
they
ahead.
I
look
do.
at it. I
I
mean, to
do.
kind of
No,
add
it doesn't.
to Mr. Z's point, I think they think that our particular history and our particular place in the world and history, we're losers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they don't
Right.
want to be losers,
Right.
or they don't want to think of themselves as being losers. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're really pushing back against. They're cowards. In my view, they're cowards of history. They're cowards of reality.
Who we talking about?
We're
What
talking about
population?
the
The
white supremacy,
conservative.
the
Yeah.
conservative, white
Yeah.
supremacy design.
The
I'm
deniers.
Oh yeah,
The white
the deniers.
supremacy.
we
The white
cowards.
supremacy deniers. The white
Yeah.
supremacy deniers. Yeah.
Definitely cowards, and you're gonna benefit off it at the same time and placate me to my face.
Are they really benefiting though?
No, they're not.
Yes.
Thank
No,
you.
I
they're not.
mean,
No, they're
You
not. No, they're
how
not. That's
not?
why it was a rhetorical question. BJ's already
They
saying
don't.
nah.
They don't benefit any more than anybody else.
Yep.
any of y'all ever heard
You
of
talking about? You talking about the black? You
One
talking
time.
about the?
Hold on, Pookie. Hold on. Don't overtalk everybody. Anacetus, thank you for the cash app, bro. And Otis, thank you for the cash app.
BGS tax, nigga.
But yeah,
Is
what
it a
were you saying?
BGS
Hunt?
tax if we're on BGS channel?
Yes, it is, nigga.
Go ahead, Hunt. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, did any of you do y'all know who Omawale Africa is?
Unfortunately, yes. We're trying to ignore
Right.
it. But go ahead.
I try. I just watched his Kevin Samuels like basically calling it like semen filled red pills. He mentioned you, BGS.
Of course.
And he was like, he showed this clip. He showed this clip where he was talking about it was Kevin on the LaBeef show, I think, and he was like talking about straight hair, and he was like, he's like, and the girl was like, why is the standard straight hair, blah blah blah, and then Kevin was like, it's about winners and losers, and then of course he cut the video right there.
Yeah, of course.
He's like, oh, look at what he's saying, blah blah blah. Then
he was towing that line.
Right. Knowing, I already knew the line Kevin was trying to take. So I looked up the video, and he was like, basically what he didn't show is the part where he's like, all right, so the solution is build your own businesses where you set your own standards. That's the solution. But they don't want to talk
What
about
guy
it.
is this again? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but what guy are you talking about again?
Remember the guy actually you asked me about actually did a video about but didn't mention his name?
That's who I thought. I thought you were talking about him.
That was.
yeah,
Because it was like, because I watched the
I think
video, and the video was like 3 hours
long.
long. He didn't say shit.
Yeah.
Last night, I think a girl sent me a video. He's very gynocentric, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is.
He has all these
But
women.
he tries to act like he's like
If
super.
I'm not mistaken, he has all these women on this panel.
Yeah, that's who he's trying to attract. He's trying to.
Yeah.
He's trying to cater to the. He's trying to cater to the Hotep women.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Who we talking about?
The queen mother goddess.
Yeah.
He's soft as shea butter.
That shit sounds familiar. That shit sounds Queen Mother. God.
He's a Hotep. He's a Hotep hustler. He's hustling. He's like a brother polite hustling.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he was talking real greasy about brothers and promoting the sisters and all this stuff. And I'm like,
his dusty ass thing.
Brothers get that way.
Hold on.
Never mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was trying to truth to hold on. Go ahead. Finish your thought. Finish your thought, Bay.
Went on mute.
But he on mute? Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I'm sitting up here. I'm multitasking. I got chick trying to, get me.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got okay. You got business going on. Okay.
Right. I got business and I'm dealing with y'all. No, but he was very gynocentric. He was like crapping on the brothers. And it's like, well, how did black men become Ray and Pookies? But yet the women became, the most enrolled in college, although they're not the most educated. Because when I drive by these college campuses down here, especially, what is Emory? When I drive by Emory downtown, I see sisters, but I see more whites and Asians and Indian women than I do black women. So it's like, you might be the most enrolled as a Spelman or Morris. Well, I don't even know if Morris Brown even exists anymore, but you might be the most enrolled as a Spelman,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not the most enrolled where people actually, when you say what school you go to, they go, oh, and they greet you with a firm handshake, and then the door opens up for you.
Yep. Yep.
Only thing I seen at the UC Davis, only nigga I seen was either when I looked in the mirror or was by the fraternity house. That's it. But I see black women all around the campus, but mostly Asians though, and white people.
Yeah. What I'm saying
That's
is
that
that
vegan.
they take 1 year, and they act like it's a trend, and it's not. They took they go back to this 1 year. I think it was 2009, I do believe, and they just spread it. They spread the propaganda all over the internet. So they always go back to that one little cutout. They don't look at the whole trend
They
because
got
because
one
the stats are there about the most educated, but they ignore it.
year. You give us all these resources, BGS, we be the most educated period of all time.
I mean, in
Period.
terms of
Period. Not
feminist,
just
in terms of feminist
Mhm.
statistics, they don't actually do any real work on it. They actually fabricate most of their statistics, or they cherry pick it.
Mhm.
Those are the only way they come up with any sort of basis or
Uh-huh.
argument for anything. That's just what they do.
they have to.
It doesn't
They
work
can't.
unless you do that.
Yeah.
They have to because they can't go to the same studies and get all the statistics because it shows that the data that they're talking about is very out of context, not correlated.
I was just reading.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just reading this academic article about explaining wartime rape, and he was talking about it's just a short article, and it's talking about 4 different theories, and it's let me see, I have it right here. It's the biosocial theory, the feminist theory, the strategic rape theory, and then the what is it? There's a third theory, but then he's saying the biosocial theory is the main one, right? Anyway, he's saying the feminist theory, of course, was the one with the least data theory fit, the least amount of correspondence to the data was the feminist theory, which I just thought was funny. I just thought
that's par for the course because they in fact that's why I talked to the PhDs are actually in this field, right? And I said that they were taught to go away from empirical data and use lived experience. That's how they always talk about their lived experience instead of the empirical data. They try to stay away from numbers and data.
Well, you have people now saying that data is Eurocentric.
Yeah, well, of course they would. Unless
you
it's in their
literally
favor.
have black people who say education is Eurocentric, and I'm like, who the hell do you think they got it from?
Whoa,
but see, my thing is, it's like
Truth, calm down, man.
The community is fucked.
Truth, calm down, man.
Oh no kidding. No kidding. That's why I'm like, you know what? You guys can die on the hill that you've chosen. I don't care about you. I only speak to those who actually care, who actually have an ounce of intelligence.
They just spend all their time telling me I'm white, BGS and shit, because I can speak in a more complex sentence with a couple of more fancy words.
Well, the thing is,
that's fine for the regular chicks. But the thing is, we're talking about the educated chicks with PhDs that know better.
And the thing is, in terms of education or anything that has to do really with the feminist argument, if you try to make the argument that anything is Eurocentric, especially in terms of standards insofar as men are concerned or education or statistics. Well, hold on. The thing is that, Europeans don't have a monopoly on any of these things. All these cultures existed before modern day Europeans. So, I mean, these ancient civilizations existed. Okay? Education existed. I mean, it's funny to try to condense every argument down to, well, because Europeans do it, they have a monopoly on it. No, okay, you're ignorant of history, and that's okay to be ignorant of history, but just don't say dumbass shit like that, because that's irresponsible.
Bro.
PK, you know why they say it though?
Go ahead.
And then I'm gonna shut the fuck up. You know why they say it though?
That remains to be seen, but go ahead.
You know why they say it though? Is because they love the European. God damn it, they think he's good at everything, and think he's excellent at everything. So they're so defeated, and it's just when you introduce them to something else, they can't believe it.
They
They don't
women
understand.
women follow. They're like parrots. They don't think. They regurgitate, and that's the problem with them. Go ahead, Bay.
I
So
had my cousin's
Go ahead, Bay,
husband
and
at the
then Meech.
time. He actually tried to tell me that there were more Europeans on the planet than people of color. And I'm like, okay. So I pointed out all the continents and I was like, dominated by yellow, dominated by brown, dominated by black. Like what the dominated by Arab. Like what the hell are you talking about?
he basically he's pulling it from feeling. That's what he
Yeah,
feels. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the problem. Like people are, you may be able to memorize and bring forth from memory book knowledge, but that doesn't translate into one's intelligence. It just tells me that you're good at memorizing a book.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't read anything past an iceberg slim novel or a Bible, and they don't even read the Bible. I got a girl trying to argue with me about Bible quotes concerning men and women relationships. I'm like, why are you're not arguing with me, you're arguing against the word of your God, because I'm an atheist, you know. Now you're arguing against the word of your God, not me. So take it up with him.
Mm-hmm. I heard that. Go
And
ahead, Meech.
what's the response to that?
No. Hey. Go ahead, Meech.
all right, so here's the thing about these dudes over here wanting to deny what white supremacy is because they feel like losers. Here's the thing: whites created a game. Life is a game. This is all a game. It's a game with serious consequences, but it's a game, and you got to know how to play it. Whites created a game when they came over there and they got us. Whether we wanted to play it or not, they put us in this game, and we have lost that game. We are in a losing position right now. Now, if you're being realistic with the position that you're in, maybe you can start changing shit. But what they would rather, these dudes that y'all are talking about would rather damn do is deny that we're in a losing position so that they don't damn feel bad, but stay in the damn loser position. And who does that? Just because they're raised by women, thinking like fucking women. Right? You're supposed to know the position you're in so that you can change it. Right? It's like you would rather know that your girlfriend hates your fucking guts than to fucking believe a beautiful fucking lie. If you know she hates your guts, you can do something about it. But these dudes are acting like fucking women, man. And how in the hell can we possibly change overall?
You can't.
How can black men
can't.
possibly change shit if we got too many people doing this thinking like that?
You can't. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's a numbers and resource issue. I mean, how many of us are in this country? Black men, what, 5-6% at the most? And then if you factor in those of us who are actually viable, not in prison, not destroyed, I mean, there's so few of us from just a purely numbers standpoint. You're not even talking about what portion of the actual wealth or resources that we collectively have in this country. I mean, you got to look at things realistically, as you were saying, to have even a shot at being able to compete, and fantasizing about what we are versus what we actually are is not going to help us.
Yeah. I mean, you have it'd be one thing if this was like maybe France or Italy or something like that. You have the most powerful country that's ever existed on the planet in history, and you talking this shit. They blow up countries, for fun.
And kill off heads of states, and I mean, a coup here, a coup there.
They killed 100 million of each other in World War II. 100 million. They don't care. Okay, let's be real.
Right.
I mean, prior to gunpowder, they were still warring states amongst themselves. So I mean.
Let me clear this up, okay? Michael, We are not blinded by white supremacy. We see it every day. We see the Black Lives Matter and all that kind of crap. You see it on the Facebook, TikTok, YouTube about black people being abused by white folks. Okay, we're not blinded by it. We're not blinded by it. We're looking right at it. We're talking about blinded. What are you talking about,
Niggas
man?
blind. He
We're
doesn't
Af-
see it.
we
He
He
doesn't
said
we are
he
see it.
said the
One
people.
time.
He said the people.
we
He
are
doesn't see
African
it.
One
we
time.
are African descendants speaking English.
Yeah.
How can we not be subject to white
That's
supremacy?
literally what Paul Mooney said.
I
Exactly.
mean, wow.
That's exactly
I
what
mean, the
Paul Mooney
logic.
said.
Whenever I hear people talk about there's no white supremacy, and we're all speaking English, and we're
Yeah.
all under British law and the
Yeah.
Magna Carta and all
Yeah.
this shit that
Yeah.
has come from white people, but yet there's no white supremacy. My God, we got white men on the money we use to survive. For
Yeah.
Christ's sake,
That's
how
why I
is there
played.
no white supremacy?
That's why I played that clip from that author talked
Black,
about.
ooh, don't trip on these idiots.
Yeah.
Don't trip on
That's
these
why.
idiots, black
That's
women.
why I
They
played. That's why I played that clip from that author talking about the fall of the Ottoman Empire and white supremacy being imposed upon them, and the color line that they were bitter about. Okay.
And they
That's why I played.
divided up the whole damn region of the planet. Say
Yeah.
you're going to be over here, and you're going to be called this, and you're going to be over there, and you're going to be called this, and
Yeah.
these are the rules in which you're going to have any sort of diplomatic interchange with the larger
Yeah.
power structure, or your
Yeah.
ass go away, and we
Yeah.
replace you with somebody else.
They carved up Africa and redrew the lines. What are you talking about?
It's too painful for these niggas.
And the Africans are still abiding by, guess what? Those boundary lines.
They actually still refer to themselves as part of being a part of the Commonwealth, for Christ's
Yeah.
sake.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake.
It's like well, the white supremacy doesn't exist. Come on, man. Okay, you're the
I
only
mean,
person
and
on you're the only person on the
African,
planet. You're the only person on the planet that doesn't see white supremacy. Get the
you've
fuck
had
out of here.
African and Caribbean countries declare themselves independent and then come back under the fold of the
Yeah,
Queen.
yeah. Zimbabwe just did it. Yeah.
I think that some of these guys
Yeah,
Okay,
think
one
that.
time ago.
one at a
Go
time,
ahead.
one at a time. Who's first? Who's first?
Skate
Who
uphill.
has this?
Let them
Okay,
Yeah.
ice
go
skate
ahead, El.
uphill.
Go ahead, El. What are you gonna say? Say it again.
Hey, yeah, you said it a long time ago. Some motherfuckers just want to ice skate uphill. Let these fools ice skate uphill. Be Black Girl, you know this too. We old enough to understand this. We need to quit fighting with these motherfuckers and just laugh at them and keep it moving. Y'all already know.
Yeah, you know, it's not
Michael J. Murphy, why don't you get your ass up here and stop typing, man?
Bruh.
it's not fighting against them that bothers me. It's the potential misleading of younger
Yeah.
black men that really bothers me and concerns me. Because black men cannot be afford to be ignorant of how this country really works.
Facts.
They can't afford to. Young black men cannot afford to be ignorant of what they're going to actually be dealing with and competing with not only now just against white people,
Mhm.
but now obviously Chinese people and Indian people. To
Mhm.
say that racism is not or race is not a major influence in how all facets of this planet are operated, I mean, it's grossly irresponsible. Grossly
Mhm.
irresponsible.
I
I mean,
mean,
these people. Sorry, go ahead,
go
because
ahead.
I didn't mean to
No,
cut you
go
off.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, man, I just think that a lot of these people, I don't know whether or not to say that it was the education system, but the education system did play a part in brainwashing these people into believing, many of the systems in America
True.
are somehow fair.
True.
And so when you move a little bit farther down the chain and you start to talk about the actual history of this country, let alone other countries, because let's be honest, half of the people in America can't point out another country on a fucking map. They don't even know the difference in between a country and a continent. Let's be honest. So when you start to talk about more deeper issues when it pertains to, racism, these people are already brainwashed. You're actually trying to go in and undo the damage that was already done.
Yeah. 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 Basically, um, First thing I tell people is if you want an independent black mind, first thing I do is take your black kids out of the white dominated school system and train them yourself. Right? Stop the brainwashing. You know, I have so many people that are in the conscious community said I'm too busy to do that. Okay, well, fuck it. Nothing's going to happen. They're going to continue to actually brainwash your children. What do you think the doll test is about? How many? That's funny because I actually looked at the doll test, right? And they did the doll test all over the world. Guess what? Like 90% of people on the planet will what color doll they would actually pick.
They picked that white dog.
Picked a white doll. Okay, that's
The
white
Indians
supremacy in
picked the
action.
white dog. The Chinese picked the white dog.
Yeah, the Mexicans, yeah, the Latin Americans, the blacks, the Africans picked the white doll. Why do you think that is? Why do
You
you
But
know
think
what's
but
that
funny
there's
is?
about
no
what you
such
just said,
thing as
BGS?
but
White
there's no such thing as
supremacy.
One
white
time,
That's
one
what I
time.
supremacy.
think.
So what? Who's first?
What's funny about what you just said is that can you guys hear me?
Yeah, got you.
Okay, so what's funny about what you just said, right? With them, and of course, you start with the children, right? Whenever you're trying to make a change, right? You start with the children because they haven't been tampered with as much. So if they're too busy, to start with the children and take them out of the schools, then exactly what is it that they think they're busy doing?
Yeah, and Michael J. Murphy, they just did the fucking doll test again in the 2000 teens, right? They just did it. They just because they actually wanted to see if if the doll test was still in effect. Guess what happened? The same shit that happened in the 1950s and 60s. Man, read, okay? If you haven't read, man, stop trying to disagree with me. All right? They just did this. This ain't 50 years ago. It's still in effect. Look at the Latinos coming across. What do you think the La Castas, the caste system in Brazil, one of the blackest countries on the planet, right? They think white is right. They believe in it. So do most of Latin America. You're the only Black America's the only one that pretend that it's not true. But don't ask your woman. Don't ask your woman behind closed doors who she would actually prefer. It's not because he actually looks better. It's because he has a higher status than you. And these coming from your black feminists actually teaching your daughters. They just don't admit it. Anyway, can y'all hear me?
It's funny that you
I
say
think
that. True story.
Hmm.
One of my coworkers, manager, she got two daughters.
Hmm.
Her youngest, when she was getting ready to go to college. Now, keep in mind, this woman is Cleveland, Ohio, Italian, blue-eyed, blonde haired, big titty chick.
Hmm.
Her youngest daughter, thick, got a black girl's body.
Hmm.
I told her, I said, because she was, worried about her dating when she go to college. I said, she gonna wind up dating the brother. And she was like, why you say that? I was like, look at how she's built. I was like, white
Hmm.
guys don't like they girls built like that. Like brother's gonna be all over her. Sure
Hmm.
enough, 2 months into that girl in college, guess what she wound up dating?
Yeah, black men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, white men have a body preference. They have a standard, and they now the low class black white guys that can't do any better, they'll pick the bigger women because you know for whatever reason, poor guys date big women because they can't, because that's what they can get, which is funny.
I
Well,
think yeah, poor
poor
women.
black guys and poor white guys date big women like that of any race. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I think poor women are just fatter in general.
Not necessarily, because you have a lot of fat women
Yeah,
that
but
are
you
educated.
wouldn't say proportionally though. You got chicks
No,
going to
no, no, no.
chicks going to
It's
Equinox, juicing, spending
yeah,
all
yeah.
that money.
What I'm saying is that upper class guys, well-to-do white guys especially, do not pick big women. They'll pick a poor chick that's fit over a woman that's in their class that's bigger. And some
Matter of
women
fact,
just can't do it. Like we have one chick that's on there, Stefco. Okay, she has a problem dating upper class guys in her class. She had to date poor guys because because her body doesn't fit. Okay,
Right.
that I
To
see
a
it all the
white
time.
man, a bigger woman seems more masculine, and he's actually psychologically competing against her appearance of being more masculine.
Yeah.
So he's actually, although they won't admit it, they're actually intimidated by a larger woman.
Oh, that
Technically, and what's funny is technically that's actually true too. Because fat,
that basically upper class guys, or professional class guys and up, are actually very, very very class conscious, and they're image conscious.
Yeah.
And so will they bang a fat chick? They might, but the thing is, they don't want to be seen with a fat chick on their arm because it looks bad. That's how come a lot of your that's how come bigger women don't like to settle. They don't.
Yeah, all the dudes. Hey,
Ram Cross, duck in.
Say what? Say what?
No, I was thinking of the Ice Cube lyric where he was talking about the banging the ugly chick.
Mm-hmm.
All the dudes in my in the theater that come in with the fat chicks be looking towards the ground and shit.
Oh
looking
yeah.
towards the ceiling.
But if
Be like
it,
350 pound cow behind them and shit.
yeah, so basically, and a lot of the the upperly mobile bigger chicks will get a fit poor dude. They have a baby buy and date because she can actually financially dominate him. So
Shit.
I see it all the time.
Hey,
You know what? That brings about the question. Like when I be seeing these slovenly black women with
Mhm.
3-4 kids, and they be young, they be like under 5. I'd be like, who fucked you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
She
who?
got
Not
passed
only did
around.
they fuck you, they actually came in you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. She probably paid for the privilege.
and what's crazy is
Her
these
food stamp card.
Yeah.
and these fools have the nerve to say.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
Well,
go ahead.
these fools have the nerve to say that the reason why Gabrielle Sidibe married a white dude is because a black man wouldn't have picked her. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, there's plenty of black dudes with chicks
Name
fatter
one.
than with chicks fatter than.
Name a black man she dated.
Sidibe was chasing down white guys.
She was.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
because no
there are
black
several
dude I know was
videos
messing
of
with
her
that.
like publicly hitting on white actors and shit like that.
Yeah.
She definitely was
It's her
about
preference.
her getting some white man.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. She seems like she comes from that like a white background.
She if you actually listen to her,
then look at the
if you
white guy
look
she chose.
if you listen to her in her natural speaking voice, she sounds like a Valley girl.
Yeah.
that'd be one hell of a Valley Girl, BGS.
The Valley girls can come in all shapes and
does
sizes.
she have a
Not that shape, not the desirable one.
Oh yeah, they do.
Does she have a non-NATO background?
Say what?
Because that
She has
can
a who?
also explain it as well.
She might. But the thing is, I think she was raised in the Valley out here, so she's a Southern California girl. So she sounds just like them.
Whooped, nigga.
So I do believe she's raised in the suburbs. So it doesn't matter whether she's 8-0s or 9-8-0s. That's where she was raised.
Yeah. No, she was getting her a white guy. She was getting her a white guy.
Yeah, she was getting her a white guy, and basically,
and she was willing to pay for it. Obviously.
Yeah, she wouldn't pay for it. So, but she had a choice between a lower class white dude or a lower class black dude. So she picked the ones that she wanted.
Hey, BGS.
Yes, sir.
Past the 40 said, Big Gabby got some thick jaws.
I guess I guess he would know. Okay. I can't speak on a man's preference. He knows what he likes. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
he knows what he likes. Anyway, yeah.
But what's okay? So did you BGS? Did you hear any noise about what was it? Amira in the fucking what was it? The Lapeef show?
I've
Some
heard
more
a little
bullshit.
bit.
And Courtney.
I've heard. Okay, number one, she's non-black, right? And she's on a black panel with black women, and the black women are going to try to run her off. Okay, which is what they were trying to do, which is run her off. They don't want her changing the narrative. Okay, We don't think black women are competitive, but they are. Because black women actually want to run the panel. Because if you leave them long enough, they're gonna try to mommy you. And then you look at the Lapeef show. Basically, the black women on that panel are very, very aggressive. They try to basically cow the men constantly.
My view. Can I get in after you, BJ?
Go ahead, right now. Go ahead.
All right, cool. I was just gonna say, man, I actually took a look at that because there's been a lot of talk on Edward's channel about the different happenings in regards to that. So I mean, my views on it are similar to BGS's insofar as that the women on that panel, man, they actually want to maintain control
Mm-hmm.
of the narrative and the image that they have for the community and themselves as well, and black women
Mm-hmm.
in it. So there's just really it's about them trying to maintain the hierarchy of the way of things that the way that things are currently running. In my view, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to save face and maintain the way that things are running currently. That's it. They're feminists. Yeah, I mean that's who they are.
Okay. It's hard to tell feminists from the regular chicks now because they've been so indoctrinated in feminist ideology. It's ridiculous. In fact, a lot of most
Does it matter?
younger exes and millennials on down are all basically feminized and it pops up in their language. I can actually hear it when they say certain key words. Okay, so exes are less feminist and millennials are more feminist. Disease will remain to be seen. But the thing is, if you've been taught from the time you're in kindergarten in a certain train of thought, it's kind of hard to break it.
I mean, I did see some blonde hair, white.
One sentence that Kay will, in one sentence, declare herself to not be a feminist, but in the very next sentence will go on about the evils of the patriarchy.
Yeah. I'm surprised she's not using cisgender and stuff like that, but that's more for younger millennials that actually use
cishet.
Cishet, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my daughter to explain that shit to me.
The patriarchy.
We're talking about cis.
Yeah.
It just means regular.
It's actually a Greek word Greek word for same sex. In other words,
just straight.
In other words, whatever you were born in. So they say cis. Basically, that means whatever gender or sex you were born in, right? That's the one you actually identify with.
You're a cisgender,
which is like 90% of the people.
I don't know. Whenever I hear him say it, it sounds like a curse word to me.
So to them, it is a curse word.
Yeah.
When
it's
they say
a slur. Yeah.
It is a slur.
Yeah. They say it as a slur.
Yeah, they're just trying to admonish you for being what you believe yourself to be. That's it. It's them trying to target you out and call you out for being what you are.
Yeah.
Because they see that as an extension of how do I put this? The patriarchal. Yeah, the patriarchy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because
in other words, basically, what did Dr. Johnson say? It's post-structuralist, right? Basically, they don't believe in a structured world. In other words, organically structured world. They believe that everything is nurture. In other words, and actually, that's why they said appear and perform, right? In other words, they think that you being masculine and that you being male is a performance. And if they change,
yeah.
Can I please finish, sir? Okay. They believe that's how come they say performative, right? When they use performative, that's what they mean. In other words, you're taught to perform or act as a certain gender, right? And if you erase that and become fluid, you can actually be taught to perform as another gender. So in other words, in their minds, biology doesn't exist. And any human being can be taught to perform the roles and thoughts and thought patterns of any gender or any mixture of genders. That's what they believe.
BGS. Look, that 475 pounds on my back when I was doing back squats felt real imaginary. That felt like a real performance. I needed an Oscar for that.
In other words, that's why they use bodies. Okay. In other words, you have a different body, but your body doesn't have anything to do with your gender, according to them. Okay.
They don't actually have any type of real. They don't have any real belief in evolutionary biology. Not really. Even when you listen to their arguments and when you point it out, at least on some of these shows and different things that I've heard, they actually completely disregard the belief that your nature has anything to do with your upbringing. They believe it's all socialization, which is why they focus purely on social structure.
Yeah.
They hate
That's
evolution.
what they believe.
Hey, pass the $40, man. Stop making yourself look dumb in my comment section, okay? You come in and tell me some of the dumbest shit, man. I swear. You act like you never picked up a book in your life, man. Don't you stop saying dumb shit in my comment section, okay? Do me a favor, all right?
Nigga, stop being trifling.
Nah,
Goddamn.
I mean, act like you know something, all right? Go ahead. But that's what they believe. They believe that feminists believe in nurture over nature. They don't believe in nature. They believe in nurture. They don't believe that the biological component has anything to do with it outside of having sperm and having eggs.
Okay, so basically that mean they think that basically the woman from what was it, Jungle Cruise, what was the chick's name? I don't remember the little white chick name. Basically, they believe that she will body me basically and dominate me if she's nurtured in a superior environment. And
Yeah,
there's nothing that the fact that I can run 4 times as fast as her, the fact
yeah.
that I can react 4 times as fast as
Oh,
her,
okay. That has to do with the body that you were born in.
the fact that
That
I can chuck her and hit and throw her through the wall.
your physical strength is different than your gender. Okay, and in their words, gender and sex are two different things, right? Uh, uh, Sex is the body that you're born in, and gender is how you how that plays out. In other words, how you act. In other words, just because you're born you as a black man, that's your sex, right? With your gender, you could wear high heels and a dress, and wear makeup and perform just like a woman, because that's what they believe in. So that's when they say gender is a performance. You know
So
how
I need to be an 180-pound feminine woman with back hair and
that's how come they keep saying trans women are women. Is
damn near
because
30-inch thighs.
is because just because I have a penis and testosterone doesn't mean I'm not a woman, because I perform and I act as a woman in my mind. Okay, that's what they believe in.
It's because
Go ahead.
Okay.
they have this revisionist history idea of, and they try to revise history and make it seem like pre-social humans weren't gendered. That's their whole thing. Like they try to act like the only reason why we act this way is because of land accumulation and whatnot.
Yeah, that's like I'm gonna use a gender instead of sex, right? There's only two sexes, but there's many genders.
Right.
Okay,
That's why they're starting to bring up like two-spirit and all these other things.
Yeah.
Like, but even that's a cultural construct specific to one culture. So it's like
Right.
it's nonsense. But
Yeah. Anyway, we got about 10 more minutes. We want to close this out because my guest on it did not show up. Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, I mean, he was really trolling me, and I was basically trying to brush him off. So,
Yeah.
so when you called him up, threw down your infinity gauntlet, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. I guess it's time for him to disappear because he was trolling everybody. I said, dude, you could have addressed me directly instead of arguing with everybody else.
Yeah. But someone said something interesting though,
Mhm.
and I don't recall. Forgive me for not recalling who it is. It's interesting, these rugged individualist types.
Mhm.
This whole everything's open, everything's fair, but yet
Mhm.
they still cluster here.
Yes.
Why don't they branch out to this wide open, outer, welcoming white world, so to speak?
Yeah.
They don't do that. I always find that to be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And
Well,
very
yes.
telling.
It was
And very
telling.
telling.
It's
These
telling. That's it.
people who everything is very competitive and open and capitalism, but yet
Yeah.
you're still circulating with, socializing with, kind of dependent on either economically associated
Mhm.
or socially dependent on black people.
Mhm.
So I mean, even like a lot of these conservative, black conservative thinkers and speakers,
Mhm.
even most of their material is still dependent on black people.
Yeah.
They never really have any sort of prominent voice all onto themselves without some sort of connection to or juxtaposition or opposite of some black thought
Yeah,
or some
yeah.
black, commentary or whatever. So they're not even really, in my view, valid conservatives per se. They're just antagonists or polemics of the presumably the majority black zeitgeist.
Yeah,
They
they're
just
the
exist to make an opposite argument that entertains white people.
they're the hype men for white people in the black
Yes,
community. That's what they
I
are.
called it white conservative earlier. I said you're not conservative, you're white conservative.
white conservative. Yes, that's it. That's an apt description of it.
Yeah, because as I said, because I still have my MGTOW channel still up. I was over there with vast majority white people. Okay. So they can't tell me what it's like on the other side. If you really want to get in and with your conservative talking points, go over there. Go over
Where
4chan
your
and see if it'll take you.
where your MGTOW channel at BGS? Sometimes I need to go get them archives up.
It's Black Gnostic Speaks.
It's where you was over there with the white people. I ain't seen it.
That
I
by
done
the way
combed
is
through them.
what the initials BGS refer to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it is.
In
But
case
It was
y'all
black.
don't know.
It's the second one. It's just the Black Nazi
it,
Speech channel.
it's called Black Gnostic. If you put Black Gnostic Speaks in, it'll come right up. But
Okay.
BGS is Black Gnostic Speaks Ibmore. When the
Okay.
Ibmore together, that's where the BGS comes from.
Hey,
And you
It,
had
Trudy, that's when
BGS
it's
for
gonna
women,
come.
and it look.
it was actually too long to actually put together with Ibmore, so I shortened up Black Gnostic Speaks.
Oh, okay. So it was just, and then you had the. Okay, so you done had like 4 channels.
I actually have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just I
5.
have 5. Yeah.
Damn.
The
Where
other
nigga?
one is
Where's the other one?
the other one is in my African name, which is Eli Stanyika, which is my email.
Oh. Oh. The Black Gnostic. I mean, the Black Gnostic Speaks one was the one you were on originally when you was
It's
doing your
original.
first stint.
My original MGTOW channel is Black Gnostic Speaks.
And you were on there debating with the white people and stuff. And
No, basically we're just talking about MGTOW content.
oh, okay.
And I'm still waiting on that challenge from so-called conservatives on whether racism or race exists and who created it. Oh, they're not gonna challenge you, DC. Not you. Okay. Like because it's too obvious. That's like I always I take it out of the. It's too easy to debate it in America amongst the ADOS community. Okay, because they can kind of imagine stuff that is or isn't, and because black folks have progressed compared to what it was, in chattel slavery and even semi-chattel slavery, like 50, 60 years ago. So you can there's a fact that you can't go overseas and it's like to the continent or to China, to Asia, to the Middle East and say that, or even Latin America and say white supremacy does not exist. It does. They know it does. They admit it.
Bro, we went from being slaves to being hated to being served.
I wanted
to
to
being
focus
hated.
real quick on the Latin American part, right? So if y'all think it's bad in America, bruh, Latin America, Jesus Christ. You want to talk about racism? And remember, most Latin American countries never had no Jim Crow type event, right? They never had a civil rights movement. So, man,
hold on a second,
Yeah,
bro. Pass the $40, man. Okay, you know what, bro? On my channel, guess what you don't do? What you just did. So, I don't like doing this, but guess what, bro? Try another channel. That's what you don't do on my channel. Okay, I tolerate it on just because you got roasted on Charles's channel and you couldn't handle it. You don't come in here with that kind of shit, man. Talking about I'm a cornbreader. Shut the fuck up on my channel.
What's a cornbreader?
In other words, Southern cornbread eater. In other words,
that's actually kind of a slur.
It is a slur.
Black people. I'm kind of surprised that he would use that particular kind of language.
Don't say that when you say it to somebody's face.
I'm actually personally offended by that.
Yeah, I was too. That's like I banished him wished him to the cornfield.
to the
I
nether
mean,
regions.
if you want to troll, you want to go back and forth and joke, that's fine, right? And I actually tolerated it. You know, they actually tolerated it on Charles's because they were talking about they were talking about boomers versus millennials. So I went back and forth with them. But that is a slur. I don't tolerate it. I don't tolerate it because I come from the genealogy. My mother was a sharecropper, and I take that shit seriously, man.
Yeah, my
You
mother
don't do
was
that.
sheriff. I was born in the Mississippi Delta.
Hmm.
I was born where the blues were
I was
created.
born in
So
Georgia, niggas.
I'm quite
Corn,
Yeah,
personally offended by
hey,
that
don't take
yeah.
a
comment.
BGS. It's not an insult
True.
because cornbread keeps that
And
strong slapping.
to you, it might not be an insult. To me, it is. That's like I'm
Yeah,
Spanish.
it is to me as
I,
well.
I have,
To
No,
me,
I
I
have,
get
to
you. I
me,
get what you're saying, but
that's
don't
Truth.
tantamount to
Let it
that. To
go.
me, that's
Truth.
tantamount to white
Jeez.
people referring to black people eating watermelon
cornbread and
and
watermelon
chicken
and
and
all that
shit like
chicken
that.
and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
you know these niggas are ignorant, bro. Like it just
in other words, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I said you have really nothing else to say to me personally. You know, I'm usually pretty liberal. I'm usually pretty tolerant, but I don't tolerate that from white people. I don't
yeah,
tolerate that shit from you either.
What's up,
yeah. Because
everybody?
it's not.
What up,
It's
Ed?
an for us of a certain age. It's an insult of our parents and our
Well,
Yes.
grandparents. Maybe if you're a certain age, you don't receive that the same way.
No.
no.
But
I
No.
get
I
what you. I
consider that
understand how
kind
it's.
of talk to be an insult to
but
like
I
black
understand. I
people.
understand what you're saying though. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying
You
don't let him. Don't
Truth.
feel like.
choose. Let it go, man. You're too
Yeah,
young.
I'm just
Let it
yeah.
go.
Just leave it
niggas.
alone, bro.
Let it
you,
go. You don't
you know,
understand.
you know what I find interesting. You know, and obviously this is true for millennials. You could say this is true for Xers with the East Coast and West Coast war.
Hmm.
But black folk, but this is one thing that's kind of unique. We'll call it the chaos violence
Hmm.
because when you got baby boomers, they had that organized, criminal shit, and then we got the old niggas got rid of, got rid of, and then that's when the chaos happened, right?
Hmm.
Yet the younger generations kill each other for a lot less than that shit.
Hmm.
So when people I get what you're trying to say, but sometimes a point needs to be made, and it's important for the audience to hear that. So being the guy to be like, well, come on, let's just all get along, or don't let that affect you. Sometimes there is such a thing as righteous anger. And I think that's lacking in the black community. And then it manifests in a lot of bullshit ways. I'm not gonna bring up the R. Kelly situation where everybody want to be, oh, we got him, he's horrible, but not understand all of the stuff involved with him being able to do why he did, or the history of what happened to him, which is not excusing nothing he did, but
Hmm.
folks really, people like to manufacture their own narratives. And that's with the white supremacy shit. When you said that shit about the flat earther shit, that shit hit me because even though I wouldn't go as far as to say that, because some of these people I rock with, if I really am honest with myself, it's kind of the same thing that I kind of go about it in the same way. It's like, okay, you can believe that. I'm not even engaging with that because that doesn't
Hmm.
interfere with what I need to believe. You believing in flat earth doesn't interfere with the world being round. So why so that doesn't even interfere with me even needing to fuck with you like
Hmm.
that. Because you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why even engage in an argument or engage in this need to try to change your mind? Because that's creating unnecessary friction. But so I can't deny that wasn't accurate, but I was like, damn, BGS, man.
Well, sometimes you get tired of it, man. Because man, I would spend too many years, study too much, and work too hard to actually break this down. And there's two sides of the same coin, right? There's some people that believe this white supremacy is going to be this forever thing, which is not. It's a system that comes to end just like any other system, and basically, it's on the downside. It's been white supremacy has been dying since the first Gulf War. It's been on it's on its downward slope, right? And with the Chinese push, it's actually accelerating. But the thing
well,
is, but it's not dead yet.
well, the biggest thing I don't understand is if you understand tribalism,
Hmm.
racism is like the natural, it's like the next step of
And
that.
that's natural extension, yeah.
It's like, because it's more of an algorithm, and groups have it. It ain't just white people. It's just white people have like the strongest one, but it's like, how can you not understand that groups will compete economically. It's like saying, okay, I believe in sports, but I just can't believe the motherfuckers cheat. I just can't believe in the concept that somebody would throw a game for money. I can't believe that that can actually exist, but you believe in sports and understand there's a lot of money in sports. Like it's like, and a lot of people always hide behind this idea that black folks are trying to be victims. Some people now want to call it the victim Olympics. That's, you got Anton saying that. And it's like, yo, being aware, it's the same thing with the women. You being aware of what women do and what female nature does, that is not essentially anti-woman. That it's like saying, okay, it's like somebody saying I'm anti-business because I don't fully trust capitalism and the intention behind capitalism. So by definition, I have to be anti-business because I understand that people will cheat in capitalism, and understanding capitalism is not a perfect system. But if you don't say that, if you say it's not a perfect system, people will come at you saying you must be a communist or socialist. I'm talking people say that with me too, which I find is funny. Is and I'm a salesperson, so it's this emotional need to believe in certain narratives at the face of, I mean, evidence and like history, and it's like, and I feel sorry for those folks because a lot of them, I wonder what would happen if they get a nigga wake up call. If they get like a real harsh, I'm not wishing nothing on nobody, but I'm curious as to if these motherfuckers got like a real hardcore nigga wake up call, how would they react to that?
Some of them would break, some of them would be in denial.
If we got a real hardcore nigga wake up call, that means half of us are probably gonna die.
No, I mean like individually. I'm not talking about like a what if episode of Marvel. I'm talking about individually a nigga wake up. Like for instance, I bet you Muhammad Noor was probably one of these ones that would probably tell you it's racism didn't exist. And shout out to him because he's probably gonna get out really soon because they overturned his case. But when he probably saw the speed at which they locked his ass up. And then he saw that it don't matter how many Somalis are in there in a specific concentrated group, that when them liberal Minnesotans want to get your ass, that's it. That probably woke up a lot of Somalis, to be honest with you. They still are gonna be on their tribalistic shit, but they realize it don't matter how much political power you think you have.
Because they believe if anybody that travels knows that if you come from someplace else, you kind of exist in that bubble outside the system, just a little bit, as long as you don't push it too far. Okay.
Yeah, but you gotta be like the Watcher.
Yeah, and Somalis thought that they existed outside the system. That was actually going to extend through past certain barriers, and they found out real quick that it doesn't. Okay?
Yeah,
but he was a cop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
once he crossed over into cop land, he was in white people land.
Yeah.
And white people going to exact their particular vengeance.
Well, yeah. But the thing is, this is and the reason I even bring that up is because one of the things, and I'm kind of crossing this with a lot of different stuff. When you have the ADOS, because I've lost like 10 subscribers. It's funny, my motherfuckers really be getting mad over this ADOS, not ADOS stuff. But when you bring that up, it's like they will say that it's not okay, this is what I've always found interesting. It's like if you start pressing them on their countries, and I'm saying even if you're being an asshole about it, they always give you the typical shit. Basically, white colonialism is an excuse. Even with what like the people that take control, the leaders that end up being corrupt.
Thank you for the cash ass super.
Yeah, it's white colonialism. That's basically what it always defaults to. So it's like, okay, you can understand that, but the same.
You got some feedback, super.
Somebody got an echo.
Super.
Muted, super.
Oh, I don't think so.
But it's the same.
Yeah, it's you. Super.
But the same white folks tell you to not listen to us, and then y'all actually believe the same white folks that are kind of indirectly the reason y'all are leaving your countries in the first place. And then you think you can tell us that as if we're so fucking stupid when we help y'all a lot more than people want to admit, that we don't have no idea what's going on there, or we can't easily find people that are aware of what's going on there to put that together because they say the same shit. It's like the same script. Well, it's the white folks' colonialism's fault, but the white folks told us to not listen to you blacks. Okay, so the very white people fucking you up are the very white people that you're listening to and taking marching orders from, and then you get mad when we say, okay, you need to stay your ass over there, or we reserve the right to kind of activate that card if we need to. Oh, y'all are being racist. Y'all hate black people. Now I understand what the black rednecks do with a lot of the shit that they do, but the truth is they do that with light-skinned women. Like people will talk about, oh well, black people are racist in America because they beat me up, or I can understand why people would say that, but it's like no, that's nigga shit, because they do the same thing to light-skinned women. They do the same thing to other groups. They do the same thing to square dudes. That's prejudice, but that's not really racism. And you know the difference between racism and prejudice, because black people don't have the ability to really box you out, and to the extent that we've never economically done that. So that would be racism. But anyway, it's just motherfuckers really be believing they bullshit and they don't challenge their own bullshit. I find that it really annoys me. It really does. And then they'll sell it to you like you supposed to buy that shit at premium prices.
Yeah, and we get Super in. Go ahead, Super.
Oh, thanks, BJS. How you guys doing? Good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Well, I asked a question earlier, but it seems like you guys kind of answered it during 3 minutes ago when you talked about how the system was falling and China kind of like fast forwarded it because
go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, because now that you guys are talking about how a lot of immigrants, like I am, like I'm also immigrated here about 20 years ago, starting to get their wake up call. Do you think it's because a lot of them have tribal systems? I won't say that they're similar to what is practiced here, but it seems to be when that's introduced, it makes it hyper or even twice as worse. That's why you have like South Africa, like you guys said, and South America. It's
I'm curious. Give me an example of like a tribal thing that people do that gets them in trouble.
Well, I can't really speak on a specific one. I was just giving you like a broad, because each country and each city, the tribal nature and how they, or the culture, let's put it that way.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Because when you hear like Trevor Noah talking in South Africa,
do you have YouTube playing in the background? Please turn it off.
He might be on a Bluetooth.
Yeah, that needs to be troubleshot.
Yeah.
No, I would say if anything, what people think is that the tribalism actually works for a lot of groups because it gets them
Super mute up real quick.
It gets them working
he's
as
muted.
a tight unit. But the problem that it always comes down to, honestly, ironically, the immigrants do the same thing that a lot of the black conservatives in the manosphere do. They pretend something doesn't exist, and then they say, okay, we're going to move as if it doesn't exist. And then they run into, it's kind of like saying, well, landmines doesn't exist, so I'm going to walk through a minefield that they say has been cleared. But we
Guantanamo
all know
Bay.
not Guantanamo, because that's still active. But I mean,
the thing is, the immigrants, the parents don't understand, but the children do, because the children have to go through the system.
But that depends on how they want to be. Do we be like
they're actually Candace Owens is a coon. She knows what the fuck she's doing. Stop pretending that.
I'm not saying she doesn't. But what I'm saying is, you have folks that Candace may be like an avatar, but you have folks that will look to her as an avatar and say she don't know. I get what you're saying, and then they'll be really stupid. And here's the thing: even if they know what they still delude themselves. Just because they know, don't mean they still don't push their way into delusion. Shit, the fucking black dude in South Carolina will tell you straight up how they damn near kicked them out the Senate. The one of the cops is designed to protect them. because they thought a black person couldn't be in the Senate, but and I ain't saying he's a coon, but they say what they say, so it's like they understand it, but they still got to put this facade of bullshit. It's the same thing we deal with black women, where they know what time it is as far as like what elder black women do to the younger black women, but they code up around it under the guise of keeping that forward. And immigrants do the same thing. They buy into it, and then by buying into it, you expose yourself, whether you go through the system or not. You expose yourself to potential shit because you actually delude yourself, because that's why they keep making these like easy errors, because as long as you don't really step on white people's toes and you're somewhat aware to not do that, you won't really be fucked with. But they be really thinking they're gonna get a pass. Like Muhammad Noor really thought that being a cop and it was legit was really gonna protect him.
Yeah.
Because I'm a different type of black, Ed.
Yeah.
I'm a different Negro.
But he shot a white woman. Had he shot a black person, it would have been different.
Yeah, absolutely. And black people even understand. I mean, shit happens in Baltimore. Black people understand. That's why you don't see black people making those same mistakes, like African Americans. Because even if they're cops, no matter how cool, you'll never see fucking Brandon Tatum when he was a cop do some shit like that. No, because as much as he's a true believer, he would have put his life on the line. Something else would have happened. If that person had a gun, the tase would have happened. Whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, they done made a different choice. Go ahead, Super. You want to say something?
I was gonna add I thought the woman was actually Australian. I thought she was actually an immigrant.
What color is she, sir? What color is she, sir? She's white.
Thank you for proving my point.
So you guys think because where you come from, color doesn't make any difference.
Can we ask Super when you were noting that she was Australian, what was that supposed to mean in your mind?
Well, normally, or what I've come to
where you're from.
Well, it's a combination. I won't just say that. Yes, absolutely, where I'm from, but also majority of my adult life has been mostly here. The last.
But what I'm saying is,
hold on, Edward. Hold on a second.
No, I'm not. So you. Can I ask him a question? So you thought because she was Australian that there was gonna be, even though she was white, you thought because she was Australian that was gonna influence how white people in this country were gonna respond to that situation?
Well, I thought it always responded to the way a person looks. That's how they support. Now, even though she's white, I don't remember a specific story, but there's also been issues of that kind of nature where it's the darker complexion doing something to the light, and they did not even bat an eye, or I think it seems like they pick and choose.
White? Were they white?
I mean,
no, were they white? Super.
Yes and no. So no.
No, there's no yes. No, either they're white or they're not.
I'm not trying to play games. I'm not trying to play games because it's like I'm trying to make sure I'm not assuming.
Stop being careful. Say what you mean. Stop being careful. Stop playing around.
You've been here 20 years. You know what the one-drop rule is.
No, it's a real easy question. Were they white?
Yes, they were.
Where did you see a place where a black person could kill a white woman and get away with it without some consequence?
I have to look.
And don't bring up OJ.
That's not. No, OJ didn't count.
Okay,
that's,
but
OJ is still hunted to this day. Okay.
Well, yeah, it counts by me from my perspective because I wasn't here when
Okay.
That's what
hold on a second. Edward, hold on a second. Where have you seen an instance where a black man, especially, can actually kill a white woman and get away with it?
I can't think of one right now, but I will look into it and get.
Go find it for me. Go find it for me because
you've been looking for a long time, bro.
Can you mute it for a second? Okay. So the very fact that we even engaged like this exchange, kind of, because remember. And again, this isn't against none. I'm just saying this is a great conversation. This is not about somebody win, somebody lose.
Yeah.
Super said he's been here for 20 years.
Can somebody make a room for DC? Meech or somebody hasn't, or Mr. Z.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be here for too
No, no,
much
no, no.
longer,
You go ahead. You're
but
talking.
okay.
Somebody can just drop down and make a room for DC.
The fact,
Okay.
the
All right,
fact,
DC.
the fact that, and this is what I really, and this is not like a bad. This is just a conversation, but I just want to highlight. Super said he's been here 20 years, and the fact that there's just like people like sales resistance. It's like the fact that you have this resistance to this after all that time. That tells you, that says a lot, because it's like the fact that you even believe that concept even exists to the point where you want to go
Okay,
look it
Michael's
up
in.
actually
Hey,
says.
hey, Truth, drop down for me, okay? So I can get DC in.
Okay. It actually says a lot. It says a lot, and that's the thing I want to highlight, because that's part of one of these. That's part of the background noise. That's always in the background when we had these conversations. It's these like beliefs that we got to overcome. To us, it's just like water is wet, like what BGS said, and
Okay.
y'all, it's like, well, it's wet, but if you change the
Okay.
molecular level under certain conditions, it can be another different element. We're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just know this shit to be water,
Okay.
and
Hey,
it's wet.
I
hold on a
don't
second.
think it's them understanding or accepting
Uh,
the class difference in white and black. They don't want to
uh,
accept it when it comes to America.
Meech, can you drop down for me for a second?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a very well, but and see, and here's the thing. This has nothing to do with like ADOS blacks. We're just talking about why people get step on the landmine and get their foot blown the fuck off. At the end of the day, as long as you all believe that, as long as whether whoever that is, because when I say you all, I include ADOS blacks. Because remember, this conversation got started mainly with ADOS black people talking about racism don't exist. To be fair, but anybody that believes that, you open yourself up to getting your foot blown off in a severe
And
nigga wake up call,
get in, DC, because I'm trying to open up a spot for you. Get in. There he is.
because
All right.
because these white people don't operate that way, and it's not about. And see, that's another thing too. And I'm gonna say this, I'll probably hop off. Like this thing about the victim bullshit. It really kind of pisses me the fuck off, because it's kind of like, is that alpha your way through it bullshit,
Okay, so that's what I was going to say.
where people say, well, there's a certain amount of, like, shout out to DC being on here. DC, DC is a pre-qualified dude. But but DC can't control he can probably, his batting percentage, I'm sure, is very, very high. But he ain't got 1,000.
Is that me?
He ain't got 1,000 percentage. Meaning you can't change every bitch. Some bitches are just so problematic, they're not worth dealing with, and you move on. You play the numbers against them. You don't deal. And what a lot of people will say is that if you alpha enough man, you can make problematic, defiant women unproblematic. Now, you may have a strong batting. People may have a strong batting percentage doing that, yes. But in the law of average, that's how it works. That's how it is with racism. If you make enough money,
that's what's sold. That's what's sold.
Exactly.
That's
And people buy it, and they act, because there's a difference between understanding the game and actually believing the game.
Okay.
And so people do, almost done, people do a
All right.
racism too, where they think, oh, if you make enough money, then you can buy your way out of this. Ask Bill Cosby. Shit. Ask Robert Smith, because they almost got him on that tech bullshit. So anyway.
Yeah, we got Michael, and we got DC, and we got Truth. Michael, you've been trying to DC, go ahead. Since you're the
I
statement.
don't want to like jump in front of everybody, but
No. We move some things around to get you in here. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, perfectly, because this is my wheelhouse here, man. I love this kind of party. This is what I love.
I know you do.
Man, it's like old Oklahoma drill, man. Line me up, Scotty, man. Beam me up.
I'll take my ass to the chat. So appreciate it.
Hey, Ed, don't go nowhere, man. Yo,
I actually wanted to add something to what you said, Ed.
It's late. I know I am.
Let DC go, and then you can go after.
Here's the thing, man, because this is me directly to you, Edward. What makes this conflating, right, is because when you don't take a side and then you lean on to kind of like justify their bullshit. Because I think I've heard you say like that the racism issue you wouldn't really kind of fall on as long as everybody is basically complaining about the black woman. But you do believe that the black woman is powered by white supremacy, correct? I want to make sure I have you on record.
Yeah, I've said that many
So
times.
that's something that's very, very pivotal in this discussion, because you're talking to people that don't believe that fundamentally. So they think that you're on their side. You understand what I'm saying? Until you have a discussion with them, and then you get into these conversations where there's this kind of like backdrop of, oh, Edge is tripping today. But see, here's the thing that I always want them to line up. You call yourselves black for a reason. You're in this space for a reason. That. No, but I mean, I know you. No, you aside, you're pro-black. I don't have no problem with you. You're a different type of pro-black, so that's why I don't understand why people use the word pro-black. It's confusing. It's confusing people, especially young people that are not as informed. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody here is a form of pro-black. It's just depending on what their ideology is. What they're talking about is hotepism. I don't subscribe to that. Never have.
Sure, yeah.
So that's the reason why I kind of drifted into this space, because I've been here since the very, very beginning of it. Before it was even named the Black Manosphere, I was here. You see what I'm saying? Always been here. So that's the reason why I'm always like kind of like just listening to these conversations, and it just trips me out, because I'm like, dude, you are in black spaces. You use black vernacular. You're using black slang. You're talking just like any other person that is basically in a black neighborhood. You're just critiquing it a certain way. Period. So you hear people say, well, you're a victim. You're playing victim. Victim to what? See, because here's the thing. The truth is the truth. See, because if we're going to talk about, are we talking about the guideline? Because we could talk about the so-called black bitch that way, right? We can run it down. We can give them letter to letter, right? But what's powering her? What's enabling her? She's not powerful by herself. She's enabled. Why is she enabled? Now we got to get to the why, right? Because at the end of the day, there is a reason why they're trying to subjugate us in particular. And when you're talking to black men that don't know that they're being subjugated and they're being used as a mouthpiece, by the way, to kind of end this conversation and say, well, nah, you just basically, you're a coward, this and that other. Well, that's what you heard that I'm saying? You think that I'm talking about white people being superior to black people? Is that what you hear when I'm saying when I say white supremacy? I mean, you do talk English, right? I'm just saying, the overall argument is bullshit.
No,
I mean, any of these guys that want to come up here and talk to me about it, I would read you to the rights, because I have the information on my side. Facts. Well, you have rhetoric, I have facts.
Well, I've been, and to speak kind of the one thing, we
don't normally argue from the chat. If they would like to come up, that's why the link in.
Please,
and have
which they're not. And in the extent that he mentioned,
and we got two more people that we have not got in. So shorten it up, Edward.
Well, okay, the extent that mentioned me, I've made it clear. One thing I will say, DC, is when I talk to guys, because there's variability in a lot of what they're saying, like the intensity to it, but I've made these things very clear. I've never denied that I believe in white supremacy and extended it. I've never denied it, and everybody can tell you when I'm talking to these guys, I tell them we're going to agree to disagree. If you want to go ahead and go into the minefield, I will let you go in the minefield on that, as long as you're not running interference to what I'm doing. As far as the white supremacy powering it shit, a lot of times, we're going to say the hoteps versus the pro-blacks. The hoteps use that as a way of absolving, and I know you're not doing that, DC, and you don't do that, but they use it as a way of absolving black women for what they actively choose to do. Like you see Courtney doing that right now. She's spreading that message, and that I'm always going to go against, because that directly runs interference to black male first type stuff. So because that's a more immediate problem, especially with white supremacy, is because most of what fucks black men up.
But it's just not just let me say this real quick. They running pockets though. See, anytime that people are compromised by running pockets, that's not what I do. I'm not here to run pockets.
I know you're not, but I'm saying
that's what I'm saying. So that rhetoric that they pump out and try to make people feel good, they running pockets. That's what their motivation
And
is.
another thing you got to keep in mind, and this is my last statement, so these people can run.
Thank
Is
you.
black people, we like you as much as you jump on the black conservatives, it's easy to knock them down for the majority of black people because you can just throw the coon card at them, and that's gonna move most black people. Versus you look at somebody like Courtney that's gonna sell the idea, let's all come along under the gynocracy. Black people and black men are a lot more wooed by that, so that's a bigger threat level. See, those guys are never gonna grow to a certain extent because black people are always going to have resistance to that. They have much less resistance to the female bullshit.
They're there to entertain, and plus most black males, most black men are actually brought up in the gynocracy.
So that's why I wanted to explain why
so
I do let the conservatives, proverbially a little bit off the. You think I let them off the hook, but
all right,
yeah.
all right.
Anyway,
Anyway, we got Truth and we got Michael. Michael, you said you wanted to defend something that you were saying.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We got you.
Okay. I don't have a microphone, so I'm speaking to my computer. All right.
Well, do the best you can.
Well, brother DC, what he was talking about is correct. I do agree with you, brother BGS, in regard to the fact that white supremacy does exist. But what I was explaining to you earlier, and what I was trying to get people to understand is, when you made that statement in one of your videos, is water wet to a fish? It's just when you live in an atmosphere where they try and cover it up, or they don't.
Let me ask you, Michael. Let me ask you a goddamn question, man. You see this shit on? How often do you see black men and black
I see it all the time.
Hold on. Okay, you trying to slide that shit in? You cannot live in black America and not see that, man. It's impossible. We talking about not noticing.
It's not about seeing it. What it's about is accepting it, and like they said, trying to wash it away.
They're lying about it. How can you not see it? You
and I both know this.
No. They see it. That's a lie. They see it. Because like they were saying, if they really believe that white supremacy did not exist and racism doesn't exist, they have their ass where all the money is on the white side. Why are they over here?
Yep.
You would be
Why
surprised.
are they over? No, bullshit. I've been over
there.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I'd be surprised, man. I was one of the original people to get bussed in the 1960s, man. I've been dealing with white people since I was in freaking 4th grade. Okay.
No, BGS, what you experienced was not busing. What you experienced is basically relocation because your people wasn't educated enough and economically enough to get you in a better spot.
That. Oh my God, nigga, you really walked into that shit?
You said what?
In other words, in a fish that's surrounded in a medium. Okay, so say we use, because you talk to a STEM major, right? So I deal into this esoteric bullshit, right? say you are in a fish, you surrounded in a medium that you don't notice, right? Okay, so where there's nothing but water, so there's no differentiation. Okay, I could accept that. Do black Americans live in that kind of medium?
No,
they don't.
Correct. But they want to live in a fantasy.
It doesn't matter what they want to live in. But to your argument that you're trying to argue is that they live in a medium where they cannot notice it because everything is the same. Okay, like a fish. A fish is in water, right? That's the medium that it lives in, right? It doesn't know the difference. Okay,
but they can't live outside of it though.
They sure can't. As I was told, when they come to the surface, they notice it real quick. The difference between water and air. Okay,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the argument is really
have you ever had fish?
Yes,
Michael. Okay,
yes,
so when you drop that feed, the pellets on top of their feed, the flakes on top of the water, and they come up, they get it. They notice the difference between water and air. Okay, they do.
So the argument is black people can't see racism; they're colorblind to racism.
What he's saying is,
a lot of us choose not to. A lot of us choose not to. They want to live in.
But that's great.
That's not the same.
That's still a choice. That's a choice.
That's a self-imposed delusion.
You choose not to see it. What are you saying?
I choose to believe height doesn't matter.
Yes.
So, in
Are you
other
funny?
words, now walk yourself through your own logic, right? Walk yourself through all the logic.
It doesn't matter.
Compare racism to water and a fish. Compare the two. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I have to go back to
No
to
bullshit. No bullshit. You don't have to sit down. Compare the two. What's the difference between a fish that doesn't know air, okay, compared to a black person? Now compare the two.
well, we've been living racism since the 16th century.
So you
So
know,
it's
so
kind
basically, so you know what racism is. To say that you don't think it exists is bullshit.
He's
know
using
it
he's
Well, how
using
you
the BTS.
One
He's
time.
using the build up tolerance argument. He's using black people have tolerance.
That is not a build up tolerance
Hold on,
argument.
wait, hold on a second. How you gonna sit up here and denounce it like it don't exist, but you know the period in which it started?
Accurately too.
I never said racism didn't exist. I made a comparison of what is reality and what people want
So
to
basically,
believe
you
is
playing a
reality.
neo argument. I choose to.
He's not playing a neo
I don't
argument.
choose to I don't
At the
choose to
end,
edit. Because I'm a realist. The glass is not half full, is not half empty.
You
The
choose
shit
not
got
take
water,
knowledge racism.
they do not.
What does
Okay,
red pill stand for? What does the red pill stand for?
the only people there's a very few exceptions, right? So you
Jesus
take a
Christ,
you take a black kid that lives in a neighborhood where he's surrounded by white people, okay? Surrounded by white people, and he's the only black person, and nobody ever brings it up that he's black, right? Okay, he would be the fish in water. Because he's never experienced racism, don't know what it is, no matter what his color is, okay? Because all he knows is that there's no difference between him and white people, right? According to the experience that he has, right? That would be one, right? But what happens when he grows up and gets out of the school system?
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Reality. You're right.
Reality.
Because
So
people,
You're right.
Mr. Officer, what's happening?
people make that argument with the military. I've heard people try to make that the argument you're making in the military too.
The military people don't give that argument.
Yeah,
well, no, I'm not talking about all of them, but I've heard, and shout out to Fantastic, but I've heard
I
Fantastic.
I knew that's what you was talking about.
Yeah, and I've heard, and he's not the only one I've heard make that argument.
Fantastic is blowing smoke up your goddamn ass.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's valid because I've argued with him on it. But I've heard.
You know what, man. You know what? Where
I
I've
know
worked.
enough people in the
Hold on a
military.
second.
That's not true.
Where I have worked in DC, DC probably knows probably more about my background than 99% of people on YouTube, right? Where I worked with a lot of retired military people, right?
Yep. Me too.
Lots of them, thousands of them, right? Thousands of them.
And they'll never say that white supremacy.
And none of them would ever tell you that the racism does not exist in the military, including my brother who's a retired sergeant.
I got you, but I've heard the Allen West type of dude.
I don't care what they say.
West.
They pull that shit. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it's sad.
I don't care. Do you believe them?
No, and I tell them that.
Well, thank you. It doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah, I'm trying to help Michael out because you're beating him with the belt right now.
Okay, all right.
Edward, let me explain to you what's happening.
The thing is, Michael's taking my title about water is wet, right? I'm referring to human beings, right? He's bringing up this bullshit argument but goddamn, the fish don't. The analogy, which is bullshit, Michael.
Michael is getting flogged right now.
Because what water is wet is a colloquialism, right? In other words, stating the obvious. That's why I put it there. Okay, had nothing to do. If you want to argue existential Gnosticism, we can. Okay, which you actually inadequate doing right now.
Now the argument is it exists, but it's not systematic. That's what
somebody asked a minute ago about the red pill, and these people want to be red pill when it comes to women, but they don't want to be red pill about the economic structure, about race, about nothing else.
You can't be half pregnant and you can't be half red pill.
Super. You got to say you want to talk because your mic is so scraggly.
You can't be half pregnant. You can't be half red pill.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Oh,
So,
wow. True.
you kind of know that they're bullshitting about
Hear me?
knowing about racism, because if you don't know about racism, the first thing you would say is, tell me about racism. Like, I've never seen racism before. What? Are you telling me there's Tell me about, show me. I've never seen it before.
Shocked.
You're right. You'd be shocked, but they never do that, right? They never do that. So, I look at this and to me, I'm seeing there's different types of racism, flat earth deniers. That was a hilarious line, BGS. That was
That's why I put it in there.
That was genius. Props to you. That was
Yeah,
funny.
that was good. That was a good one. Yeah, that's
And
good.
so I looked like, so part of it, I think there's like one common theme with all of them. And I really haven't necessarily drilled down on it per se, but I'm seeing this thread of Christianity throughout all of it. And, like I
Oh
said,
shit.
racism is just, it's sin. It's sin. It's not really racism. We all sin. And it's, if we all just got right with God, we wouldn't have these problems. So it's not really racism.
What church are they going to?
I don't know. I don't know, but
Hipster white Jesus church. Shout out to Black Uru.
that's what it is, right? And
Okay.
so I'm seeing
All right.
that.
Okay. So it's sin. Okay.
And then there's
what's the old quote that preachers always use, especially in the black church? We've all sinned and fallen short of what?
The glory.
The glory of God. All right. Well, anyway, continue.
So then you have some types that may not be Christian, probably are. They're in a meritocracy. They go and I think for them, they say, I don't see racism, and it's more of maybe a psychological defense mechanism. They go, I don't, right. They might even, if you get them one-on-one and talk to them, they'll say, yeah, racism exists. But, I don't like to admit it, though, because,
I don't like to admit it. I don't want to admit it in public.
Yeah, I don't want to admit it in public. I got a single-minded focus. I don't want to get distracted. But they know. And then, I think that, that's kind of the same with capitalists. Yet you'll see like a guy like Michael Jordan. He's not going to go public and talk about racism per se. But he ain't going to talk about a lot of things.
Even though his biggest factory is in a communist country, but that's beside the point.
But have you read his book, his biography?
I haven't.
Is it worth reading?
It's all about racism. No, but I'm saying he talks about his childhood. He talks about how race influenced him and how he was affected by race, how it affected his pops, his family. See, that's that. I mean, okay. I'm you know what? I'm gonna veer out to the rim, man. I can't do.
Hold on, let me finish, Joe. Let me give you out. I got one more. I got one more kind of archetype. These flat earth deniers, and that's these conservatives, the type that would follow Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens, and they kind of identify their black identity through the lens of white conservatives. There's something to that. I don't get it exactly, but it's quite obvious. I met a guy who actually was a big fan of real funny. He was a younger black dude in his early 20s, a big fan of Ben Shapiro's. He went to the White House, when Trump was in office with that black conservative group. And I guess they had, people were flying blacks from around the country into the White House to celebrate Trump. And he really loved some Ben Shapiro. And, I really don't understand where that comes from, but I think that's just a common element. You see a lot, and he was a conservative Christian himself and a conservative. So I think, those are pretty much the four types of racism flat earth deniers that I see.
Ben Shapiro.
I agree.
Hey, so did he just say flat earth denier?
Yeah, that's what I called him. Yeah, flat earthers. That's what I call. In other words, you deny that around earth.
No, he said flat earth deniers.
In other words, we use flat earth deniers. In other words, they believe in a flat earth. They deny that there's a round earth, so we call them flat earth deniers. That's the term.
I'm saying like racism flat earth deniers.
Yeah. I actually compared the two. If you actually listen to the video, I actually compared the two. Go ahead, DC.
No, I'm good. Go ahead, Meech.
All right, so there's something real simple here as far as the dude talking about.
You can't go after me. Go ahead, Meech.
Okay, the guy that said that they were ignoring racism. Let's be very clear about something. You can't ignore something. You can't intentionally ignore something unless you know it exists, right?
Say that.
So they know that racism exists. That's the reason that they work so hard not to speak about it. What they want to bury their head in the sand, but then on the other side, you got people that don't want the same thing about it because they know what side their bread is buttered on. So nobody's you can't sit over here and act like you don't know something exists. You just happen to dodge it all the time, but then you pretend like you don't know it's there. Oh, they're dodging around it. They know full well better, and you gotta quit letting people off the hook like that. If they don't care about racism, if they don't want to fight against it, that's fine. But don't lie and say you don't know it exists.
Mitch, I got an actual example of that. A guy on YouTube, he's one of these racism deniers, and the way he said it too, I was like, man, he really. I mean, that was kind of like some old slave talk or something I was hearing, because he goes, like that shooting down in where was it, South Carolina, where they jumped out the truck, and they gunned the brother down, and the guy was speaking. He goes, "Oh, I told you. You talk about racism, and you do this, you're gonna make these white men mad. And I told you, then you scream Black Lives Matter. You ain't gonna be able to say that no more." And I'm like, man, like you really
Truth, you saw how they came at me when I was on a certain show, bro.
Let him finish what he's saying. Let him finish what he's saying. You finish what you're saying, Truth?
They start to see themselves and their own Black identity through racist white people. So then they feel like I can't really speak on it in a way that's authentic, or like maybe even guys in the military. Like if you were, I'm not saying this is true for everybody, but some guys are career military men, and maybe they come from the South and they've seen deep racism, and they've actually were raised maybe in this incubator where they learn to be frightened of real white supremacy. That deep down South racism is going to be different than West Coast racism. So then they come out and they go, whoa, you better not be too pro-Black out here to get your head shot off. And that's really real in Georgia and Florida and North Carolina, South Carolina, in these, in this Bible Belt states, it could be a real different ball game. So I think, a lot of times these guys, they start to see themselves through the eyes of racists, but then they go, I don't see the racism. So, then we start to see these delusions. It's like delusional talk.
Mm-hmm. They have internalized.
All right, Michael. Real quick. Hold on, Michael. DC, and then Michael.
No, I was going to say that the attitude that they have internalized is the anti-Blackness that naturally exists.
Yep.
So when people say that when they leave the country, even though we live in the freest country in the world, Black men can feel the relief as soon as they leave the shores of America. There's a reason for that. So when you get out the incubator, which is the pressure that you naturally feel, you're walking under gravity, extra gravity, and you don't even know it. So when you go somewhere where nobody's actually looking at you, you start to notice that, damn, I feel a little bit more, freedom of movement, like it's noticeable. You know what I mean? When you leave the country or you go to the continent where people are not looking at you as much as possible. Not to say that it still doesn't exist there, because it is there, but it's just not as prevalent because you are in the incubator, you are in the creator of this particular system here. And for us to be able to deal with it, some of us have internalized it and turned it against ourselves because we're part of a forced group. And I think a lot of people just can't deal with that. They can't deal with being forced into a group. And that's what I'm saying. That is white supremacy. That's the system. That's the system of white supremacy at the end of the day. Like I said in the chat, you got people from India and people from Korea, people from China, and they call these people Asians. Those are not the same folks. Where at? One is dark as charcoal with straight hair, and the other people are white as snow with straight hair. They don't even share the same culture. It's impossible. That's what I'm saying. Not the language, the same culture, anything, same landmass. But hey, white, now y'all, we're gonna have to classify you guys as Asians. See, that is a category. That is a way of people putting people in categories to characterize you into a sort of historical rhetoric, because there's dominance that has happened all across the planet. This is the record. This is what it is important. Just like BGS said, it's important to get a history on this because you don't need to listen to us. But it is good for people to read Tragedy and Hope because he goes through the record. He goes through the record of what domination was initially, what happened, and the reason why it's going to fall apart. At the end of the day, nobody is saying that white supremacy is going to last into the ever after, and it's going to. No, it falls just like any other empire falls. Period. So if you think you're listening to DC and I'm saying that white supremacy is going to last forever, absolutely not. That's false. That's not true. That narrative won't hunt with me either. So just before you jackers even go on that, Not on the record. That is not what I'm saying.
And it will fall, but guess what? Like they say, like the Klingons saying, but not today.
Yeah, but not only that, the fallout. Because we're part of the fallout.
Yeah,
we're part of it.
We're already starting to feel the ripples.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when what they say when America has a cold, we have pneumonia, HIV, and all the other diseases and things and maladies that happen out here. We're the ones being left behind, and who's being left behind the most? Black boys, people that look just like you, and we're in the so-called black manosphere, and you ain't pissed about that. Like something to be emotional about. Be emotional about that. Be emotional about that truth. Facts.
No, they still more pissed about the black women they get to pipe.
No. But that's important too. But what I'm saying is, if we're already talking about she's powered by something, you're mad at her for basically taking advantage of something that she was already compromised from the very beginning. She was brought here as a broodmire. She was brought here to breed. Period.
Yeah.
Not to be your mate.
Well, this is probably be red meat for you. I'm gonna actually highlight this one from Ray Alexander. Okay. I'm from the second half of the Great Migration. Black people did not leave the South because of power. They left the South because they're actually terrorized it. They left because they wanted to save their motherfucking life. Okay. So this dumbass that we were sold a goddamn, we weren't sold shit except they weren't going to hang us from a goddamn tree. That's the only thing we were told.
1919. Please read it.
1990.
The warmth of other sons.
Please read it. Stop with the goddamn cap.
True,
okay,
man. It's just not true, bro.
Read Negroes with Guns.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know what I find interesting, and this is what you see coming out of the Jim Crow is like when you integrate.
I'm sorry. I don't have to interview Charles Blow, man. I live this shit, right? I was there when my auntie walking down the road had to pull us into the weeds, man, because the truck came up with a shotgun. Okay, I lived that shit. Okay, my uncle had to escape from the South because they were going to kill him. Read Richard Williams' book. Why you think he left Louisiana? Okay, because they were going to kill him. That's why they left.
I still don't know why I'm not invited to the party to do the little debates when it come down to racism. I'm down.
It's about the rhetoric, though, right, DC? It's about.
I'm not gonna be no rhetoric. No.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying it's about them having the rhetoric. They don't actually want that rhetoric challenged. It's black men actually telling you fuck your facts, which I thought was a black woman thing. But it's brothers saying fuck your facts. They don't want you there. They don't want BGS there because you're actually gonna put their backs to the wall.
Yeah. Anyway,
right?
Michael, jump in. You've been waiting for a minute.
Yeah. I wanted to touch base on what Brother Truth was saying. He's absolutely right. We have a class or a culture within ourselves that sees ourselves through the lens of the Caucasian oppressor, so to speak. Let's just say that because we're on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
The issue is they do not. But the point is they don't identify themselves with us, and they don't identify with any struggle that actually is going on. That's where the problem lies. And what's like Brother DC said, the black woman came in as bluesmen. They were here to produce babies. As what Brother Mitch said, I gotta go back. They've been doing this since the 50s and 60s when they started with the welfare and the
okay, you don't have to tighten it up because you cast a wide ass net.
What I'm saying to you is why this is happening, and this goes back to what Brother Truth is saying, is because from the beginning, from childhood, they have been trying to strip us of identity so we don't see this. It's the concept of his story. As long as they can control the narrative, we're going to have this division of confusion.
So why do you think they're trying to strip you of your narrative and your identity? What are they trying to do to you?
Make us submissive and controlled.
No.
Tell me that.
Did you ever read the Monahan report? Because it's actually at the very beginning, at the very end. Okay, what are they trying to do to us as a group?
They want to
assimilate you.
They want to absorb you so that your identity becomes American and not black.
So you're not.
They're trying to get rid of the problem.
Exactly. you're not the Negro problem. There's a such thing as the Negro problem.
Very
Actually,
much so.
That does exist, folks.
One of America's biggest problems.
And it's the same thing that they had. The same thing that they had before they actually formed Germany. It's called the German problem. Okay. How do you get the disparate groups to think as one, and what are they going to do when they get together?
And that's why they came up with
Shout
the
out to Otto von Bismarck.
Please read what led Hitler to that particular conclusion, by the way, because he looked at America and he saw that it wasn't working over here. He saw it as a problem.
Yeah.
If you ever look at, I mean, I don't want to bring that up on the platform, but if you read
Final
the
Solution.
Final Solution, if you read the actual outline of it, it goes through and you can see the correlation between America and what they did and how they came to the conclusion about it's not going to work.
And thank God for Eisenhower, because they made a different choice.
Right.
Because trust and believe, they were thinking about it.
It was close. Yeah.
It was close.
Yeah. That's the same reason they basically want to burn the books in Texas, and they're trying to write out slavery out of the books because they want to social engineer black people and white people to just erase race and racism and just rewrite history. So we look at each other.
Why you think they coming down so hard on critical race theory? It's the same thing.
In other words, the mistake was because it was about money. About money, they wanted to keep a separate class, right? They wanted to keep a separate class. They kept their separate classes for 150 years. Okay, and now when you need the admixture, a natural admixture, which is normal. Now you have to break down all those strictures that you built over 150 years. You're in the process of actually doing that. This should have never happened, but the thing is, it did, because it didn't happen in Latin America. Even though Latin America have their own version of racism, but it's not this. Even Moynihan said the exact same thing. Okay, should have never happened, but the thing is, it did. Now they have to break it down. You're only 4 generations in. Okay, it takes admixture takes like a couple hundred years. Okay. So you only like 4 generations in. You're only like 50, 60 years in. You got another 150 to go.
I actually came across something a couple of weeks ago. I was doing some reading, and I came across this article. I forget, man, I should have saved it, but it was very credible, and it talked about hate crime statistics. So last year, maybe about this time, there was all this talk of Black people beating up Asians, and all this Asian hate, and Asian hate crimes are up 400%, and and you see these videos, and it's there's a real uptick. Well, when I actually read the data, I said, oh my goodness. They said that there was only 236 Asian hate crimes. I mean, that's a lot. That's 200. No, not there only, but there was 236 hate crimes against Asians, but there was 2,600 against African Americans, and something like 1,600 against European Americans. So when you see this, this on the news,
of those Asian hate crimes, how many were perpetrated by Black people?
Right, exactly.
That's the question I wanted to ask. That's what I wanted to ask.
The vast majority of Asian hate crimes are perpetrated by white people, not Black people.
By white people. The vast majority of Black people don't have a great deal of association with Asian people.
Exactly. We're not even around them.
We are around them because their shops and their businesses are in our neighborhoods.
But white kids, for example, are much more likely to attend schools and have other associations with Asian people than typically Black people are.
Yeah.
So they're much more likely to be in some sort of connection or interaction or some sort of workplace, professional kind of environment where they're more likely to have some sort of encounter or accostation of some sort.
I think part of this though is just we're in a cultural revolution right now. I mean, we're in the middle of a cultural revolution, and everything's kind of swirling around us, and it's not clear right now. But as time passes and we look back, we're going to say, "Oh, okay, this is kind of what we were looking at." So sort of like we're living through history right now. They're going to write about this time period in history books, and part of this is like Black identity is starting to change. You look at like white identity starting to change. You got all these white folks marching for Black Lives Matter and donating money. And, they got these newspaper studies. They said 30% of European Americans, when they do the polling, are for pro reparations. We're just coming out of having a Black president. So it's like all these things are starting to change. And so for a lot of Black people, their Black identity is starting to change. And so another aspect of these race deniers, what they're saying is basically is they go, well, because you bitch about racism all the time, I'm just going to deny that it even exists because and they know, and they're basically, it's a high level troll job. They're really just trolling people. And again, if you talk to them one on one, they'll be like, yeah, I know it exists, but I'm not going to tell them niggas that because that's all they ever talk about.
It's a form of anti-blackness, man, on a high level.
Because you complain about it being 100 degrees all the time. Oh, it is. How about now?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's like saying because you complain about it being so fucking hot all the time, I'm just gonna pretend it's not.
Okay.
I think also that we. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm gonna ask you to address something, Ray. Ray, you need to bring your ass up here, okay? Because I got something to tell you, bro. Because about the shit that you're talking. But go ahead.
I think we also underestimate how a lot of brothers are so mad. BGS hear me say this shit all the time. So does Black Guru. They be so mad at sisters. They're like, well, if y'all gonna use this intersectionality and y'all gonna talk about race, then I'm just gonna say it don't exist. I'm willing to cut my nose off to spot my face just to spite you. Shit's crazy.
Yeah. In other words, Ray Alexander, okay, say your black mayor does build a tech zone in whatever town of Alabama that you think it is, right? Say they build it up and it's not nice and got all these jobs coming in. What do you think they're going to do to it within 15 years after you do that? I'll give you a hint. Look at downtown Atlanta.
Do people still think that mayors are the most powerful people in cities?
They think any figurehead that black has an extreme amount of power. Okay, you're setting yourself up to get gentrified. Okay, just like Memphis. Okay, just like Atlanta. Atlanta was solidly black. I mean, blacker than black until they started moving businesses and money into Atlanta. Guess what's happening in Atlanta right now?
Just like Inglewood about to be.
Just like Inglewood, just like DC. DC was the original chocolate city. Okay, when they started moving money into DC, guess what happened?
Yeah, we begged for it actually.
I don't think people understand what opportunity zones actually do.
Hold on, Z. Don't step on people. Okay, finish what you're saying, DC.
No, I was just saying that we begged for the money to get pushed into the neighborhoods and things of that nature, but we did not know that it was going to be a hostile takeover because at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. Like some of the problems that you're trying to solve is incubated into the system itself. So you're asking for help, but the help that you're asking for is going to still basically not do any good for your people. That's the reason why people are so twisted up and politically. But man, if we don't have brothers, man, like you, man, like any of these guys, man, that's willing to fight, I'm on the board at my child's school trying to fight for rights as far as like bathrooms and shit like that. I've been telling you guys that for the longest. I'm one of the first people that showed it. I came with the receipts. Remember that when I came with the receipts about what they was basically showing in DC, what they was going to basically do unisex bathrooms and stuff like that. I'm on the ground, bro. I'm sitting there trying to fight this stuff. But man, if you got people to do all this talking and stuff like that, and they're not really trying to get into the guts of it, even locally. And I know what that means because at the end of the day, your state or whoever represents your particular district, that's the people that run it. So you're talking about state senators, representatives, and then it goes back to wherever the capital is in your state, they run the government there. So the most powerful person in Atlanta is not the mayor, it's the governor, because the governor, people forget Atlanta is a capital city. So you think all the white people that stay there, they're not part of the government? I just really want people to think about that. Atlanta is a capital city, just like DC is. The seat of power is white people in that city. The governor resides in Atlanta just like the mayor does. The mayor don't got no power over the governor there. That joker will always get trumped. Bam.
They don't have
unintended.
That's not where the money is. Yeah.
You know, you'd have thought that people would have learned that just by watching The Wire.
No.
Remember when dude became the mayor and he went to go talk to the governor and he got stonewalled?
But that's why they go to try to be governor, because they see how they're hamstrung by the governor at New Orleans, Ray Nagin. When what's the name went down there and basically got with them about all the funding, he had to ask. He didn't have any power in New Orleans. He didn't. He had to ask for it. He had to ask for funds to get there. He has to ask for help.
He had to ask for the National Guard to get there. That's what I'm saying. People got to understand the chain of command. Your mayor is basically the next thing to a supervisor. They're not the associate director. They're not the director of finance. They're not over anything outside of the local police department and local jurisdiction. They handle the minute group that's within the city limits. Period. But as far as the money, who allocates the money, the drive, and all that type of stuff, you got to go to wherever your governor's office in that state is. That's where the power is. Hence the reason why we only have what 1, 2, 3. Is it 4 black governors since Reconstruction? 4.
Yeah, I think
there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Yeah.
Well, could I give the panel something to think about? And especially for around my age group, I don't know about some of you older brothers, but we were sold on skip government. Go get this money and go buy politicians, right? That weird ass shit. Go make this money, go start a small business. So my generation was sold on forget government, just go make this money.
Did y'all follow it?
Apparently not. I don't know if it would work anyway, but
Did you? First question is, did y'all make the money?
No, definitely not. You already know. So millennials have less than 5% of the wealth.
The next kind of precludes that entire formula.
Exactly. But I think that's something that we skip. And like I was saying, millennials own 5% of less than 5% of the national wealth. That's number one. Number two, that idea I think feeds into this He-Man, hear me roar, I can overcome everything type of mentality, especially if you're a follower of hip hop to a certain extent. You really think you can make these Jay-Z type moves and these Dr. Dre type moves and these Diddy type moves with Ciroc and whatever, and we feed into that. So you really think you could skip over politics and skip over having your hands in government and just make money and everything will be okay? And so when people hear DC talking, some people, this is like some new shit. It ain't new to me. It's definitely not new to you, BGS and Black Uru and whatever. But a lot of brothers, this is like some profound shit that DC is saying.
So now what Uru is saying is, you really believed in it, that you get money and then buy basically buy politicians, buy policies. Okay, you guys, a lot of you guys are turning 40. Okay, did you make the money?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So in other words, if you really believed in it, where's the money at?
We waiting for y'all to die. I told you, BGS.
I know.
Well, even the ones that made the money, did they go buy politicians with?
Nope.
Well, I'm gonna take my chance to get back to the rim, man. I came and disturbed the peace enough. Light speed.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Tell Chewy.
Thanks for coming in, DC.
Tell Chewy to make sure you have a safe flight to the rim.
Oh man, safe flight to the rim, man.
And avoid the Vichy maze. Okay.
I got to, man. Bounty hunters are always abound, man.
What's a Vichy maze?
Yeah, bounties always.
Basically, that's where the Palominos are, man. Where the clones are being made to the right of the Vichy maze.
Yeah, man, where the media showers, hiding in the media showers, man.
Yeah, that's
out of the galaxy too. But anyway, man, I'm gonna head on out, man. I think I didn't share it enough, man. But salute, gentlemen, man, and hopefully you guys have some peace with the information I shared, man. It was all with love. Trust me, man. This is a red pill space. I deal with facts. Period.
Yeah. I know this is your wheelhouse, man.
I'm convicted by the truth.
Let me ask you a question, DC. Did I say anything that was incorrect during this podcast?
No, absolutely not, sir. And I bid you guys a fairly adieu. If you ever want to come to the rim, man, holla at me, man.
We got to see a code breaker sighting, man, is rarer than a goddamn.
That's paradox, man. I got to get paradox out of the code.
We'll probably have a solar eclipse before we get another code breaker sighting.
Nah, we'll try to get one there, man, in the next week or two for sure, man.
Okay, all right,
you fellas, man.
All right,
gentlemen.
Hey,
peace, man.
Here recently, here.
Go ahead, Meech. And then Michael.
Yeah. So here lately, and follow your channel there, Z. I like you. I like your vids, man. Good stuff.
I try.
Here lately, Edward has been going off on folks because they're not letting these chicks. He's trying to, let the chicks speak so you can get the information out to feel how they really feel and not to jump
Okay.
on them so immediately, right? I'm gonna tell you something. I used to be the kind of jump on the motherfucker when they said something stupid and shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's a good thing about what Edward say. When you let these people speak, you're getting out. You're really letting them get it all out there, right? And these
Okay.
kind of dudes.
Hold on a second. Zaddy's on. We're not doing this boomer versus millennial shit tonight, all right?
Oh
I'm not in the
This
mood.
that
All
goofy
right.
shit.
Yeah.
Um,
So if you want to go to the cornfield, keep it up, man. I'm not in for this shit tonight, all right? Well, go ahead.
You know I would say there BGS on your channel that it's a shame we don't know we don't know up front the kind of people that think that way about this racism and it not existing and that kind of shit, right? I would say use the Edward method, and when you start talking with people, especially other black people, to just don't necessarily, you could throw something out there, don't necessarily tell them how you feel about it, and get an understanding of what that person thinks and how they feel and what they think like. So before you make some sort of investment, especially time or resource investment with this damn person, because with this shit coming up, I mean, people that are in on the fight like Cobrecker said and everything, right? Like DC said, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna need to know who you're dealing with because we got a lot of weak links, and some of these people they're not untrustworthy because they mean malice. They're untrustworthy because they're either stupid or they're weak or they're fearful, and you can't even trust their judgment in their own life. Do you get what I mean? I really think people got to start paying attention and use the Edward method. I'm going to call it the Edward method. Let them tell everything they want to tell, so that at least you know the truth. Because they're gonna start hiding, like you said, when the nigga wake up calls start coming around. Those kind of people are gonna start hiding and wanting to blend in with everybody else.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I know if somebody
That always
tells me
happens.
they don't believe in racism, I don't think there's much of a conversation there to be had. There's not like a whole lot you could. What are you going to say to that? Like, well, I mean, you don't believe it, okay? I don't really know where you go from there. So like the guy, that's why he didn't want to. That's probably why he didn't show up today. What's he going to say? Because as soon as you start to drill down on him, his whole framework's just going to melt down right in front of everybody, and he's going to embarrass himself.
Racism. I don't
But
believe in that
one
shit.
of the
I don't
problems.
believe in racism.
Listen,
go ahead, Charles.
unless I
You
have to
don't?
deal with
I don't believe in racism. Oh yeah, what's up, everybody?
all right.
Yeah.
Unless I have to
Racism.
deal
Charles
with
got the
people
banjo
in
out, yo.
business,
Yeah, I got the banjo out.
true. Unless I have to deal with these people in business, I just look at them and walk away.
You talking about white people? What are you talking about?
No.
What people?
Anybody who sits there and wants to deny racism exists and white supremacy and prison, I listen to them. And unless I have to deal with them in business, I just walk away. It's not worth my energy. Because they live in a fantasy that doesn't exist. Sorry to say it that way, whether it was sold to them and they bought it or it was washed through them through their livelihood, they're not living in reality. And when reality smacks them in the mouth, they're not going to know what to do. So I just listen to them and just walk away. Somebody tell me, like, I was going to say something to Brother D. What he was talking is truth, and what Brother B just was dropping was truth, is absolutely correct. We have people that will sit there and say, this doesn't exist. I don't believe in it. Okay, you don't believe in it. You have a good day. I need to eliminate you from my life because you're going to get me killed.
I just don't believe in racism.
So what, Charles?
I just don't
funny
believe
when you
in
whisper
racism.
Oh, he's whispering. Okay.
I just
What's
don't believe
racism?
it. What's that? What's racism?
Can I get it at Walmart?
What
Does
is
Amazon
that?
sell it?
Yeah, you
What
can
is
actually.
this?
Oh, speaking of Walmart, did you
What
see
is
that
this
news story in
mythical
Walmart? These two brothers went in there, 50 years old, retired cop. The other dude was in his 50s too. Bought a brand new TV. TV didn't work. Returned it the same day. Had the receipt, $300 receipt. Police handcuffed him. Made this 50-year-old black man cry. Said he was crying for about an hour because he embarrassed him in front of everybody. Put handcuffs on him. They say, well, racism doesn't exist.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's just it's something, and it's just your. It's just not. It does. It's just not your turn. That's all.
Oh man, that wasn't racism. You know he switched them TVs out. He bought a busted one. He bought a fresh one and tried to return the busted one. And now y'all trying to scream racism. Man, y'all niggas
That's a
always
good
trying to
white man.
point
That good white
Yeah.
man wouldn't do
and blame
that.
the
I
white
want to say
man
this.
for
I
y'all
want to say this to
problems.
Charles. Why the fuck you turn up? 4 hours late, Charles. What's your problem?
He was hooching
Candy
his
Graham from
coochie.
Mongo.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I'll accept
Nah,
that. I'll accept that one.
nah,
Yeah, hoochie in the street.
nah,
Because
nah.
because we
Took a,
three we 3 hours in, man, and you just
nah,
showing
took
up.
a, nah, took a, nah, took a nap. Yeah.
And we're only going to go about 15 more minutes, man,
What's
because
her
it's
Hey,
only
name?
hey,
Well,
hey,
real quick to
BGS, what started this live stream? Who's KG?
It was SKG. Okay, I actually, if you saw the video I put up about racism, about white supremacy, right? Really, what about race, about white supremacy, which is a system, right? I actually found this clip from this lady from Politics and Prose. She actually wrote a book about the 1920s breakup of the Ottoman Empire and subjugation of the Arabs in the Middle East, right? And she actually
hmm
talked about the color line and how the Arabs found themselves the people in the Middle East, not necessarily the Arabs, found themselves on the
found
wrong side
himself
of the
on the
color
wrong
line,
side.
wrong side of the color line, right? And I said I use that as jumping off point because a whole lot of people in this space talk about racism and white supremacy does not exist, right? As far as they're concerned, when everybody else in the rest of the world knows that it does.
Yeah.
That's why I
That's
use it
that.
as a jumping off point.
Well, who's
And
who's
and
KG?
KG, it was actually in the comment section bothering everybody about
hmm
prove that racism exists, white supremacy exists. It doesn't exist because we got elected officials that are making decisions and all this kind of crap, man. So
Well,
that's what it actually prompted. He wouldn't shut up. It's like, okay, like 8 hours he's bothering, not just putting up posts, but actually in everybody else's
Yep.
comment, replying to everybody else's comments and bothering everybody. So I just
I
decided,
clashed
okay,
against him.
yeah.
and
So
how old is he?
I have no clue. Okay.
See, some people are just trolls and they just want some attention.
Well,
You
you got
know,
attention.
some people are just simps and they want attention. Some
Yep.
people are just
Just walk away.
dumbasses and they want attention. People talk about racism. Well, it doesn't exist. Oh, it's like the Maryland lottery. It could be you.
Hmm.
I
Real
gotta
quick
say
to
that I gotta
respond to
say the flat
truth.
earthers. I gotta say one
Yeah.
thing. They
Okay, okay.
gotta. It's kind of funny what they say. I kind of laugh. It's a pretty good troll job because you say they go well, right. You go, racism does exist. Here's a million examples. Look at your cell phone. You can pull up these 10,000 stories. And then they go, no, I don't buy that. That's just individual cases. And then you go, well, even white people themselves say that there's racism. And they go, yeah, but those white people, they just say that to confuse you, to make you psychologically frozen so you won't be on your purpose. See, that's how they try to trick you. They try to trick you that there's racism. It's like they're trying
Yeah.
to make you straight.
Well, you saw what.
In other words, flat earther.
Yeah.
Well, you saw what happened when truth with me. It was simple. I was like, well, why do we even have a black manosphere? Why are we separate from over there? And that you saw that frozen.
Yeah, I saw they were fucking
right,
with you.
frozen. No answers.
Right.
They know. They know.
Why is he over here listening to the black manosphere instead of just going to the one that just says manosphere on it, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
Well,
you don't tell y'all up, man. We shouldn't argue with a fucking flat earther.
The
That's
reason
a
why
waste
he
of
said
time.
it. The reason why he said it because he wanted to watch the Manosphere in Technicolor. That's why. That's why he just wanted to watch that shit. Like, I don't get people these days. It's the reason why, like I said, people talk about pussy. They get like 1,000. They get like viewerships. You got BGS talking about global politics, and you got Dr. T talking about cultural studies. You'll go through Green Gorilla talk about the philosophy of shit. You got Dr. Dunbar, Dr. Nicole speaking on medical advancements, and it's funny because all you got to do is have a British accent and a thumbnail, and you'll see all these fucking simps. Yeah, I'm coming for. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Trust me, I'm gonna say it. I don't give a fuck. Punch in the words of Baltimore. Come punch me in my mouth and see what happens. You know,
I told you, Charles. They want to fuck Mary Poppins. I'm telling you.
I want to fuck Mary Poppins. That don't mean to be a simple.
If she still exists.
Yeah, I mean, shit. The only white girl that I know that floats is cocaine. So, I mean, it's sad because but these motherfuckers are so red pill. But y'all, all a bitch got to do is just talk like this and have a little thumbnail.
Oh,
she
gosh.
could be a fucking wanker for all the fuck you
Little
know.
light skin something.
I said here's the problem. These are the same motherfuckers who tell you racism doesn't exist, but they're at the job listening to all the racist jokes. Oh, Johnny, you're just a hoot.
Hey,
Like,
speaking
nigga,
of voices,
racism
I've got a question for you guys. Have you guys ever thought that some of these gynocrats, there's one of them in particular, I haven't been by her channel in a while, but I would think like she would be a white dude with a voice changer, pretending to be a black woman, talking, saying horrible things about black men. Because I actually caught a white dude pretending to be a black woman talking about I'm gonna kill black baby, abort black boys, and I was like, no, black women don't sound like that.
Huh? Yes, they do.
Well, no, but the way she said it, the way he typed it,
I'm gonna put it to you this way. Shit, the most racist motherfuckers in the community are black women. Shit.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you guess what? They're more racist than the white. They overtaking white people for white boys for being racist.
Didn't they call them black men bullet bags? Isn't racist?
Yeah. She had to delete. She had to close her channel. Yeah.
Well, she could have said that because black women are lawyers.
And she was a lawyer too. Yeah.
She was a lawyer.
Whoa, what? Rewind. Wait, what?
No, you know what?
I told y'all, education don't mean nothing.
I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. And I understand. I'm not for doxing, but if she put her information out there, this is part of what Black Gurus say. Motherfuckers got to start getting in trouble for this kind of shit.
Yeah, they do.
Because that recording should be paid for her fucking firm.
Yeah.
Stop
that's why she shut her mouth and went away because she knew it was going to happen.
Well, and she may have also exposed the cocktail talk amongst her peers.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Well, you said you exposed the what in her mouth?
Yeah, there were some multiple meanings there.
Yeah. She could juggle a couple of balls here or there. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, like the double entendre trust. You gotta love them.
Well, let me say this real quick, Charles. There's something you said, and it triggered something I said earlier, and I want to stress this: you can't be red pill only when it comes to women. But you can't be red pill only when it comes to women. That's why if y'all search all through BGS channel, you'll see everything: economics, politics, history, everything. Right? That's why Mr. Z. If y'all ever look at my subscriber list, that shit's ridiculous. I gotta be subscribed to at least 1,000 shit by now, right?
And
it's fucking ridiculous.
I don't know why, because you torture the fuck.
I know.
You're a sadomasochist, man. That's what the fuck your problem is. Like,
okay, that's true about that black pill, Mr. Z, because BGS he black pilled me on the gold standard in Bretton Woods, and what happened in 1971, coming off that gold standard and making that permanent, and that gets kind of brushed. You don't really hear about that anywhere. But that you look at the timelines on the American, with inflation and stagnant wages, and it has everything to do with that.
And that's my whole point. Like, you can't just be red pill, or even if you try to go to black pill, you can't just be that on women. It got to be economics. It got to be politics. It got to be history, right? If you just red pill on just the women, just admit that you still in the rage phase, and that's gonna happen throughout your entire life. And that's all you in this space for. It got to be more than just that.
But here's the problem.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you don't have feminism without racism, without hatred towards
say that.
Men. It's very they are part and parcel to each other.
Yeah.
Feminism started with resentment and jealousy and begrudgment of black men who fought and died and killed for this country.
Fuck
It
your
started
contributions.
Yeah, hey, Black, let me say this too. For those who are listening to that, you might hear that and it might just sound kind of rhetorical, like, he's just saying that. But no, if you go through history, that's an absolute fact. Feminism got started with resentment that black men had more rights than white women.
Yep.
Yep.
Got the right to
Thank
vote.
you for mentioning that. You'd be
How
surprised
da-
how many people don't fucking know that. They don't
How
know
dare
that,
you?
that feminism is
How-
rooted in racism.
How dare you, colored
Yeah, they
bastards?
don't know that shit.
How dare you, colored bastards, get the right to vote? Well, we did fight a war.
Absolutely. Over a white woman.
What did you do? Over a white woman? We fought a war. So you could take your little Gucci fucking
Shout out to Bill Burr.
back the fuck over there.
Black men didn't fight a war. Black men
We
helped
won it.
to win a war.
Help
If you look at
win.
the statistics,
We didn't
One
help
time,
win.
one at a time,
more
y'all.
than twice as many Union soldiers were killed in the Civil War than Confederate soldiers. The Confederates were winning most of those battles. It was only when the black men were allowed to fight in that war that the tide was turned. They would have lost that war without black men.
Imagine what those black guys said. Wait a minute. You
They
want us
lost
to
World
do
War
what?
II. They would have lost World War II without black men too, because they could not have fought the Japanese without black people, because they can't fight in
for
that
sure.
climate.
They could not have, in that particular area. No, they could not have won that war without black men.
My grandfather was actually a Tuskegee Airman. We never knew. We just found his medals after he died.
Guadalcanal, the Americans got slaughtered, right? That's when they allowed black men to actually fight in that war, especially the Marines. They could not have won that World War II without black people.
I can
That's
imagine
how come Eisenhower honored his commitment to actually give black people a shot at being American.
I can imagine what the black guy said.
I think I saw a.
Like, wait a minute. Like, I can imagine the first black. Wait a minute. We can shoot some white boys and not get in trouble. And we're gonna get paid for it. And we're gonna get paid for it. Amen. No, you had me a shoot a white boy.
One time.
You had me a shoot a white boy. You already got me on that. But you got me on
Hey,
that.
what Z said though for the list. This is very important. What he said, right? You can't just be red pill when it comes to women, because you're not going to really even understand what's going on with your women until you understand all the other shit. Your women are their behavior, what they're doing is a result of all the other shit. It's a result of the situation with money, with the structural setup, with history, with all of this shit. And any goofy out there that's saying that racism isn't, that there's no racism in the structure, you're out of your mind. The structure was literally founded upon racism. It's built around racism. I don't think people understand something. First off, a race is just a team. That's why back in the day they had, what was the lady, I can remember, she was very wealthy back in the day, bought whiteness, right? It's just allowance into a group saying, hey, you can bet on this team, right? You can be a part of this team in the fight for power and resources. Y'all need to understand this shit, right? So
you literally had Asians sue to be white in America. For those of you that don't know, you literally had Asians twice. One South Asian, one, and I think those twins. I think they were twin Asian guys. I think they might have been stuck together. I don't remember exactly, but they sued to be considered white too. Twice in American history, you had Asians sue to be white. Look that up if you don't believe me.
Yeah, I mean they can designate as you, because up to this I think it was the 70s. Mexicans and Latin Americans actually designated as a white until they separated them out. All it takes is a simple switch of designation. Okay, it's just a switch. People are white when they say that they're white, and when they're not white, they can actually flip a switch and say they're not white again.
There you go. That's why you see on these applications white and white non-Hispanic.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Actually, Brother BGS, what they did, I think it was in the 60s or 70s. They actually added a damn slot that said white, non-Hispanic.
Non-Hispanic.
It was like around. That was around 74.
Yeah, somewhere around
I
there.
couldn't
But
remember the exact date, but I
67,
know
yeah.
they did that because they wanted to make sure to let you know I'm still a nigga.
And
Unfortunately,
on the original census forms, you just had two races, white
Yeah.
and non-white.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Basically,
BG,
basically what it was, white and non-white. Yeah, go ahead. And we're
if
gonna go about 15 minutes. We're gonna cut out of here.
okay, but it base hold on, damn,
Yeah, I know.
hold on.
I know. I mean,
Shit, I'm just
Charles is late ass coming in, but yeah, go ahead.
What did I
yeah.
do?
Where you at? Where you been at, Charles? Man, damn. But niggas been
So I
getting
He
they.
do.
said he was asleep.
I
He said he slept.
I'm like, damn, I do have a life, you know. Unlike some
Do you?
people in this.
You have a, I mean,
Yeah,
do
they
you
do.
nigga? But your
Yeah,
ass
yeah.
be
Well,
streaming a lot, nigga.
go ahead and finish your thought, Truth.
But okay, but I was saying though, but if they wanted to, BGS couldn't they designate our black asses and give us that white status too? If
They
they
could.
really
Well, it's kind of hard, man. As black as you are, it's kind of
I
hard to
know,
do
right?
both. Yeah.
it's bullshit, motherfucker. You said it's just a designation.
Well,
That's
here's the issue
bullshit.
with
Oh, the
that.
new,
Here's the
If
issue with
most
that,
of
though.
us look like
the
Clay
new,
Thompson, then we'll
the,
be white.
the
I
new
feel white,
designation,
BGS.
the new designation will be people of color. You will no longer be
Mm.
black in
Right.
20 years.
Here's the issue.
Except you,
They're
Dopey.
already starting
Here's the
that.
thing with that,
One
True.
time, one
Shit
time.
don't
Shout out to
roll off the
Brazil.
tongue,
Hey,
nigga.
hey, one at a time, y'all. Goddamn. Okay.
Except
Here's the thing with that, True. Here's the thing with that, True, is that white was literally created in opposition to us.
Mm.
Right? We were the
Okay.
original non-whites,
I don't give a fuck.
so they're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna. We
I
were.
feel white, nigga. Feminist
yeah,
culture.
yeah.
My damn status.
Basically, okay. Saint X, who pushed Truman to actually desegregate the military?
Mm.
Who pushed it? They have Senate hearings
Eisenhower
where
when he was
Eisenhower
Eisenhower.
they were actually pushing Eisenhower to actually start the desegregation process, right? And basically, in fact, Eisenhower go back and actually did like 3 videos on this shit, basically, and most of desegregation actually started under Eisenhower.
Mm-hmm.
The military first, and then actually most of what he was supposed to do as actually desegregating the military wasn't done until actually Eisenhower became president. Most of this stuff wasn't done because he wasn't moving fast enough. Eisenhower said he wasn't moving fast enough, so he actually
Truman,
became
you got him up
president.
out of there.
That's when when Eisenhower got elected, they actually implemented desegregating the federal government, the most of the rest of the military. He actually started the desegregation in schooling. Remember all the busing and the
Big
desegregation
things,
of the
yeah.
schools and all that kind of stuff came during what? Eisenhower's reign under his 8 years. Go back and look,
Remember when
man.
people?
But
Remember when people
BGS,
got
it's
mad
important
with
that
you?
people.
Hold on.
Go ahead, but I'll go
Remember
after
when
you.
people got mad
You
with
mean
you
it's
about?
4 years? You only have 4 years, right?
Hey, he had 8 years, but go ahead.
Remember when people got mad with you when you called him an honorable man?
Yeah.
And they didn't like. These are supposed to be learned people who don't even know the meaning of honorable.
Mm.
Like military wise, I don't respect these fucking people's opinions.
Well, what I was gonna say is people, and this is why important to be red pill on everything. BGS, they might not understand who Eisenhower was before he was president, and why he had the sway he had, why he even became president in the first place, and why he was able to move the way he was.
You know what convinced Eisenhower to actually move the way he did, because he visited the goddamn German death camps, and he saw what they call it, not euthanasia, but eugenics was actually meant if you actually followed to its final solution. He didn't want that for his soldiers. Okay, that's why he started the other way. There's only 3 ways to get rid of a unwarranted population, right? Okay, first is to deport them. Okay, second is to kill them. Okay, next, which is the longest process, is to integrate them. Eisenhower started the integration process because he didn't want the final solution. That's why he did it. Truman wasn't for it. That's like, I mean, he gave it lip service. He actually passed it. The thing is, he didn't do anything until Eisenhower got. Wasn't anything done until Eisenhower got into office in '53. Go back and look. That's why I say go back and read the history.
Yeah, because
so basically the other
Eisenhower
option was they was just gonna gas us out like the damn Jews.
What happened to what happened to the Jews and the Poles and the Gypsies in Germany? How many did they kill? How many did they kill?
Mega millions.
They killed about 20 to 25 million, right? How many black people were in the United States?
Oh shit! Not even that. Not even
10
that.
million. 10 million. They could have wiped. They could have put a eugenic process and wiped out all the black community if they wanted to.
That would have been easier than fucking Auschwitz.
And in
Yeah.
no time too.
And in no time.
But then white people will have to start doing work, but they ain't gonna do that.
Yes.
Shit.
Oh, come on. Oh, we don't want to start that, man. You too young.
Crazy
Go ahead.
motherfuckers.
I'm gonna put it to you.
too
No,
young.
no. We're gonna learn you something here today, boy.
Learn you something.
Don't. Okay, but all right, fair enough. But don't most of the other
Listen
people
and
from
learn. Listen and learn.
You're outnumbered 10 to like damn near almost 8 to 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know they can kill us, but I'm just saying it's gonna make them have to work way harder though.
You really underestimate who you're dealing with.
Let me ask you a question. Whether it's easy or hard, at the end of the day, what are you going to be?
I did that.
You're gonna be dead, nigga.
Dead. Thank you.
Okay, but okay, BGS. But then don't the foreigners say? And Jack Rasmus was talking about how all the foreigners say that when when white people were created, that they're shiftless and lazy and all this bullshit.
Human beings are human beings. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. Because they went to war. The Germans were the same way. The Germany has been together as a country less time than the Americans, right? We were actually former slaves, and they had already had way more against us than they had against the Jews. Okay, been very easy to eliminate us, extremely easy. Okay, they didn't, and they didn't because they made a different decision.
Why did they make that decision, BGS?
He literally just told you.
Okay, let me handle it, BGS.
We ain't got all this time, but go ahead.
I get why, but I'm just why?
Be quiet.
Let me handle it, BGS.
Use the Naruto reference.
Well, let me learn you again. Okay, number one.
Yes.
Why did we go into World War II?
We went into World War II because Germany was taking over Europe and they needed help.
What were they doing to the Jews?
They were killing them and throwing them in prison camps, working them to death.
Hold up. You going too far ahead.
My bad.
Did that look good on a world stage?
Hell nah.
Did it look good on a national stage?
Absolutely not.
So how would America look euthanizing black people after we just fought fucking a 4-year world war trying to stop people from doing that to their people?
I mean, America's done a we look pretty bad. We look pretty bad. I ain't gonna do it. Look pretty bad.
So what was the options? Either deport you. They can't deport you because you're a citizen.
No, legally. Anyways.
You're born. You were fucking born here. Stop that dumb shit.
Not legally. I said not legally.
So they can't deport you. Okay, you can't deport you. They can either kill you or they'll integrate you. What was the safest bet?
I mean, I get integration for us, but why would they? Okay, I get that part of it, but why would they instead of just trying to do a different more subtle way of killing us, which they still kind of do.
There's no subtle way. There's no subtle way to kill 10 million people.
Not through sterilization and
There's no subtle way to kill 10 million people. They did that all that.
If you do that, you're no better than Hitler. Okay.
More Hitler.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, closing thoughts, y'all.
They would rather. Okay, they rather fuck the monster.
Don't ask. Go back and study. Go back and read it. Go back and read it.
I will.
I'm gonna hop off.
We've answered your question.
I'm gonna hop off. All I would like to say is where the white one at?
What do
you know
where
they probably the lot lizards, man. When you pull up the rest stop.
Shout out to PK and AO.
All I gotta do is open my curtain. Now I probably see them out there, huh, BG?
You ain't lying. Yeah. Hey, at discount prices, probably.
Zombies. Y'all take it easy, man.
Yeah, the zombies. You sure ain't lying. Walking Dead. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
My closing statement. You want to go first, or go ahead?
No, you go.
My closing statement, like I said, this is my third time saying it, maybe my fourth time. You can't just be red pill or even black pill in just the female dynamic with just women. You gotta take all of it. And this is what DC, by the way, if y'all didn't get it, that's what DC and Ed were saying. You and especially DC, you have to be red pill in all of this shit, not just on the women's side, because you won't understand why they're moving the way they're moving. And your rage will get you to the point where y'all gonna sound like some white supremacists, and some of y'all niggas sound like white supremacist chocolate dip.
Yeah, some of
It's
you niggas
weird.
sound.
It's really weird, and I'll end it right there. Thanks for having me up, BGS, and I'm glad that we eventually got to the politics part instead of the fucking Sierra and Russell Wilson shit again.
Fucking
Again.
it's like the 6 million time. Like,
Later,
please.
Well,
All
you
right.
got to realize.
Who's in closing thoughts now? We ain't debating. Closing thoughts.
But yeah, you guys do sound like some white supremacists. I thought before BGS you said I think on a couple months back that you didn't think Candace Owens was a coon.
No,
I
I said
thought
she
she was a
was.
coon.
No, I said she
You
was.
said she was. You said she was
Yeah.
because I heard
She's obvious.
somebody here.
It wasn't me.
Okay, because I'm about to say that shit was.
Wasn't me.
But yeah,
there's two people who will never say this. Me and Bay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying,
BGS, you think she's not? You think she is a coon because she doesn't believe what she's saying?
She can't believe what she's saying, but she's getting paid for it, just like Larry Elder.
it's impossible to believe because it's not backed by statistics.
A good coon is an occupation. Okay, it's not a belief.
Can't believe
You're the first
Lano
person I ever heard
Coon
say
rock.
that too, and that kind of stuck with me because he said, "No, I don't think Soul's a coon. I think he actually believes what he says."
He, I
That's
think,
the difference.
I think he does believe what he's saying.
So what does that make him though? He's not a coon.
He's an ultra conservative, but he does carry water for a certain group.
Oh, fuck.
Most people listen to his speeches and not read his books.
Oh, this nigga's a sheep.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Like useful sheep.
You already had your closing thoughts, sir. I'm trying to get closing thoughts because you keep it up. Look, you like my grandson. Keep asking questions. The session is finished for today. Anybody else closing thoughts?
I got a closing thought. I think I was looking at these weird ideas, like reading the history of Haiti, and after they beat the shit out of Napoleon and sent him packing, they made everybody in the country black. Now they didn't want too many white folks left after they got done barbecuing them, but basically they made the white people that were there left that considered good white people. They said they wrote in their constitution that everybody in Haiti, no matter where you came from, you were all black. And when I read that, I said, "Damn, no, that's a powerful idea. I had never learned that before." And I think in America, I was thinking, what if we did that here? What if white people who weren't racist and hated white supremacy, the ones that at least say that they do, and they say, well, then put your ass on the line then, and then you be black, and who's really black because you can look at us, and you be black too. Why not flip the table like that? I was thinking, now that would be one hell of an idea.
It would be, that, and basically, it probably would be a what if segment from Marvel in an alternate universe.
What happens if Marvel would have came up with Superman first?
Yeah.
Wait, describe that again.
Hey, stop.
Just go to Wikipedia, look up What If. It was a comic book first for years.
And
now
it's a
show on
series.
Disney
It's a
Plus.
series in Disney Plus.
The
What if?
90s.
Yeah.
The 90s.
Yeah.
Check the 90s.
Yeah. No, it's a Disney Plus. It just came out with the new episode today.
They get a series?
Oh, the What Ifs? You talking about the What Ifs?
What If on Disney Plus? Yeah, on Disney Plus. Go check out What If. Yeah.
I was
check it
watching
out
it while y'all were talking.
Yeah.
With Ultron, that whole Ultron thing, that was actually a pretty good episode.
Yeah. Which I think Killmonger is probably the best one.
Killmonger's the most. God damn, I would love to play chess against that motherfucker.
Well, if you got a 20-year head start, and you don't know he's coming, you probably lose. Anybody else? Closing thoughts?
Yeah, actually, I do. If I can go real quick, because I
Go
go
ahead.
study.
Go ahead.
Here's the deal. My thing is, in this space, in any space, we need to be looking at both sides of the table, and that's why I follow my brother BGS, because he does bring things from the other side of the aisle. As far as this space and what's actually going on and what's happening, yes, we have individuals out here that want to act like this is not actually happening when it really is, and they just put it underneath the table and think that it's cool, but it's actually happening. And I'm glad that we have people like DC, Truth, and BGS bringing this to the forefront. Like Mr. Z said, you gotta be you gotta be red pill. You have to understand everything, the whole. I'm gonna say the whole dynamic, and not just one area to understand what's going on. And then once you understand it from one aspect, you got to see what the other side is thinking, so you know how to interact with them.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah. You will be. Anybody else?
I'm
ahead,
gonna
Charles.
say this for my closing thoughts. I've always said it. You red pill for black women, but you blue pill for every other woman in situations.
Say that.
And I mean, a lot of you dudes. I'm gonna say it once again. Small little 10-second rant. You worry about the lowest common denominator, and you wonder why we don't get respected as black men around the world. You fall for the bullshit. You fall for accents. You fall for thumbnails. You fall for low hanging fruit conversations. It's about time that you actually start being men of action and men of character. Shout out to the multifaceted man, aka the Ain't Shit Click. T-shirts coming out soon. Woo!
All right.
I didn't know intelligence is so multifaceted like this. Niggas could be smart in one area and then stupid as fuck in all other areas.
It does happen.
Welcome
that way.
to the world.
That word.
Yeah.
Please,
Who else got?
Stop using that word, please.
Yeah. Who else hasn't had the closing thought?
Your powers are weak, old man. That's all I
shit.
gotta say.
All I can say is just work on self-improvement. Just work on self-improvement and stop slumming. God damn.
Shout out to the no sleeping click.
I still think of that thumbnail about the Pookie man in the Section 8 apartment and stuff all over the place, and he getting ready to get a blowjob, saying, "Oh, this is a nice place to post up." Huh?
I can't believe. I can believe that I got pushed back from that. Just like I got pushed back from that thumbnail where the guy asked the girl if she'd go ahead and pick him up some socks or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I actually got pushed back from a guy on my Instagram about that. And I'm like, nigga, read the comments. Read the comments. Oh, ain't no woman gonna agree with this. I'm like, nigga, read the comments. There's like 2-3 women who said something, like, damn, saying something about the woman, not to mention the likes that other women drop. Like, man, like I told them, I said, you know what? You keep your raggedy, useless bitches, and I'll deal with women who are about something.
See, gotta simp even when simping's not applicable. God damn you, black man. God
damn. On your channel said, she said that who gave you ashy blokes access to YouTube?
Oh, there was I miss her too, man. She kind of went off the rails. I kind of miss
went off the rails, nigga.
Yeah. Before she got into that colorism stuff, and she kind of.
Oh hell no!
Because she's actually a very brilliant girl, and
a very
she's
sweet
girl,
girl,
go a long
but
way. Very sweet, yeah.
Oh, very sweet girl. But what she was talking that colorism, I said, hold up, sweetheart. If we talking about colorism, how come most black men think of some of the most beautiful? Actually, their top 3 most beautiful women, if not number 1, is usually a dark-skinned woman.
Well, the thing is, the colorism, especially for somebody that's in her class, okay, because she's in, she's probably gonna be a global elite in the upper class. They prefer a certain color, their women look a certain way. So she's not going in that particular class of that hierarchy. She's not going to be the first choice.
She's not gonna be the pick of the litter.
It's not going to be the pick of the litter. And colorism really exists at the top level. So you get up to the up to the master of the universe level. They want the girl to be that mulatto looking chick. The light skin, light eyes, mulatto looking chick.
And it don't matter across the board, like entertainer, master of the universe, global elite, master of the universe.
Yeah,
Pretty much
basically,
everybody.
yeah. You have to be really an exceptionally looking dark chick to actually make it at that particular
Like some
level. So
Iman type bitches.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I understand her, but thing is that but trying to take it out on me and say, I said, hey, baby, look, go be you.
What
So
video was this?
no, it wasn't a video. This was my interaction with her through
Oh,
email. Okay.
okay. What
And
the
basically,
fuck?
I told her because she's like almost like the same age as my daughter. So I said, okay, you know what, baby, go be you because you have potential. You're gonna be a great person. You guys are gonna find you a very wealthy husband. And I said, but the thing is, what you're on right now, okay, you're 19, 20 years old. That's what you're on. Hey, I can't be that. I'm not your punching bag. So I let it go. So,
And
but yeah,
it's funny because competition is okay for men. Like you go to the fucking combine, you got to be faster, stronger than everybody
hmm
else to become a
hmm
first round draft pick.
hmm
But these bitches think, why do I have to compete? Well, bitch, that's the
And
rule
what
of that's the
what
rule of the
about the
world.
because in the white feminist world, there's no such thing as competition. Everybody gets a cookie, and you
Mm.
can't. I don't care how she looks. You can't. There's no such as competition. Competition actually brings her self-esteem down. That's what they're on.
And even in
sheesh?
the white
Meanwhile,
feminist
competition
world,
is getting stiffer.
With
even though
time,
in the
yeah,
even in the white feminist world, they know they still trying to marry up.
yeah, they do. They do. Anyway, no, it's actually Rihanna. Rihanna, we kind of parted ways maybe I
That
would
was
say four
years
years
ago.
ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. She's
Yeah.
been gone. I miss her though. I really liked her. She was like a daughter
Oh,
to me. But
well, okay.
anyway,
Let me
y'all.
put a twist on that shit.
Nah, nah,
Who
nah,
gave you
nah,
a
nah.
That,
Ashley
that, that,
Blokes.
that,
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you too.
Who gave you
Yeah,
ashy bloke motherfuckers? You too, man.
yeah,
God
yeah,
damn.
yeah. I miss her.
Try.
But go,
Night
Bay. You
night.
want
I'm
to?
out of here.
All right, Bay. You want the closing thought? Or you done?
I already said it.
All right, okay. All right, y'all.
All right.
It's kind of longer than I thought. But Charles, be on time next time, sir.
I don't know. Shit. Sometimes you come too late. Sometimes you come too
He come
early.
too early.
Bullshit, nigga.
Yes, he
Damn.
did. Yes, he did. You know, but bump.
Well, I'm here all night. I'm here all year, folks.
All week. Yeah. All right,
Bring the
folks.
zeal.
All right. I'm out. I'm gonna take my
All right.
ass to bed. Peace.